Hey everybody, it's me, Ashley Breve, founder, creator, Tea Time Network. I hope this finds you in good spirits. But me and my guests are about to educate and read with love. We want to talk about.
No, we're not about to read with love. Look, don't lie.
We were gonna have a conversation about comedian, drag queen comedian Flame Monroe, who um has expressed that she was a trans woman, drag queen, he, she, we. And it's, even now some community members are actually confused now too. So I want to get everyone to introduce themselves, and then we can all dive into our thoughts on Miss Flame Monroe.
Is it Miss or Mister?
So I guess I'll start first. Hey everybody, this is Brianna. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
Which one you want?
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's me. Hi, I'm Kanima. My pronouns are she, her, they, and theirs.
Okay, my name is Ashley. My pronouns are she and her.
Hello, my name is Ultraviolet, and my name is she and her.
Hi, I'm
pronouns. She said my name is she.
I'm sorry, my pronouns are she and her. My bad.
My pronouns are he, she, and they.
Love it.
Okay, and last we have.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jerry Truman. My pronouns: he, him, his.
All right, so who wants to start? Let's go.
Well, I'll start.
And you can start off for people that don't know who Flame was or is not familiar with the Breakfast Club. I'll let you break that down.
So I'll start it off. So Flame Monroe is a comedian.
Hold on 1 second. Ultraviolet, can you mute your thing until you speak? Because we're hearing a lot of background noise. All right,
I'm trying to go somewhere quiet, and there's nowhere quiet. Hold on, let me see.
All right, go ahead, Brianna.
So Flame Monroe is a comedian that recently rose to prominence because he was featured in a comedy special created by Tiffany Haddish that came out towards the end of the summer. And since then, there's been like a renewed interest in Flame, and Flame has really been hitting the Black radio circuit, like doing many interviews. I remember Flame on Comic View when I was a kid. So I definitely remember Flame from back in the day. So today, the Breakfast Club released an interview where a lot of Flame's stick or comedy routine is rooted in anti-transness and patriarchy. And we'll get into some of the comments later, but a lot of the things that Flame was spouting with Charlemagne, Envy, and everybody else was typical anti-trans stuff, anti-gay stuff, and really an insult to the community who Flame has been using to come back into prominence, because now Flame is saying that he is a trans woman. However, Flame also describes himself as a man that only gets up in them for a comedy and to perform or to entertain, but at home he is the man with his children. And I know we had a conversation offline before we even get into it, and I know I had started my conversation by saying I don't think Flame is gender non-conforming or non-binary, and I know I don't want to conflate what Flame Monroe is doing with being gender non-conforming and binary, because based off of Flame's words and conduct, he's made it very clear that he's a very binary man. Okay,
thank you.
He's not a gender. He's not somebody that
a man. It's a real nigga up under that wig. That's what it is.
Wait a minute. So I just want to be clear, like going forward, I don't want to attack the gender nonconforming or gender nonconforming community, because Flame is not that. Flame is somebody that is very much male and very
That's the
much
man.
using his male privilege
That's the man.
to
That's a
navigate.
Tyler Perry with
Right.
implants
Nigga with
don't come out.
sexy titties.
Reminds me
That's
of
a
Tyler
full-time
Yes,
deal.
Tyler Perry squared, right? Because this is somebody who is physically taking steps to have these body parts to
That's
get
right.
into these rooms, but still
That's right.
navigate and talk in a
That's
way
right.
that's very patriarchal and that lifts up manhood and maleness at the
That's
expense
right.
of throwing
That's
trans
right.
people and gay people
That's
under
right.
the bus for 15
Yes.
minutes of fame, and they really don't. They don't fuck with you. Like, you're a key, you're a gimmick, you're a novelty. So I will just start off with that. Who wants to take over next?
Miss X, I'll let you speak.
Okay.
You and your partner. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so yeah, I'm here with Jip Jack. He can't be on camera, but I basically feel like she's there, whatever. You know what? I'm placating.
Wait, I want you to first announce your own gender identity, because I don't want people to presume you as just a cis person reading.
Right. I identify as a non-dysphoric trans woman. Like, I am female. I identify, I know that I am a woman, but I like boys' clothes, if that makes sense. In a sense, I'm not uncomfortable in my maleness per se. So that's and I make that work for me in different ways. I've had to learn to navigate spaces in different ways because of that, and realizing that from early on. So that's how I identify, and that's how in a sense I sort of relate to Flame in the drag aspect. Every day I feel I dress up in drag as a boy. But it's fun.
Okay, I like that.
It's it's fun for me. It's not a burden, or anything. I don't feel any inner conflict about that. But I very much identify with my womanness and womanhood.
I know that's right.
So
right, because there's been this the Tea Time Network has lately been diving into all types of different types of trans women who express in different ways, and to a lot of trans women, especially older trans women, it's hard to take in these new ideas of what a trans woman looks like.
And Ashley, just to jump in right fast, because I'm very fascinated by Mix's testimony. I feel like we need more people who don't look at femininity or womanhood as a demotion.
Right.
Narratives like Flames are those narratives that feed into this idea that to choose to be amongst the hallowed halls of womanhood is some type of demotion. And you would expect that living in a nation where there's a 300-foot mute woman chained in the middle of the New York harbor. Ooh. So, wearing a slave chain. So we know how this nation feels about femininity and how it feels about womanhood. And it's horrible, when people like Flame, who looks like Madea with irremovable titties, and who reminds me of a RuPaul that just, didn't get the breastplate but got the implants, because this is patriarchy. This is the evolution of the founding fathers. And this is one of the reasons why I had to move away from the long, flowy, light-colored wigs, because it was the founding father spirit. And this so funny. It's so funny that it's so funny that she was on the show with T.S. Madison a few weeks back, and she made the comment, because they were both painted multiple shades lighter and wearing blonde wigs. And they talked about how when their makeup got sour looking, they looked at old white men. And me calling them the founding fathers, I was like, the irony. because Flame Monroe Flame Monroe has a narrative that in every way supports patriarchy because and it's interesting to watch her play the different audiences when she's doing these interviews because she'll use the word she'll say I'm a black woman, she'll say I'm a trans woman, but then after she said all of that, she's gonna come back and remind you that she's a man. And she's gonna tell you that no women have penises. And she's gonna say that even if you get the sex change, you're still not a woman because pussy lets you know when it wants you because it gets wet. Like a sex change pussy can't get wet, and she's a lie because if I'm excited, my pussy does purr, Miss Thing. It does purr, Miss Thing, and it does get moist, Miss Thing. You're not going to say I'm dry, Miss Thing, and I need to lubricate every time I have sex, Miss Thing. How dare you try to speak my narrative for me when you have not undergone that part? So I really didn't live for her saying it. So at the end of the day, she feels like she's a man and her masculinity and her maleness makes her superior. And she used that to handshake with all of these men and uphold patriarchy. That is a founding father. That is not my sister. Hashtag Flame is not my sister. That is my uncle.
Wow.
Uncle Flame.
All right, Miss Sykes, I'll let you say what you want to say.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, Miss Sykes, are you with Jip Jack?
Like blown away, like the cloud that carries the shade, Jip Jack.
Tell my bitch I said hello.
That's all I know. What's going on, beach?
What's up, bitch? I miss you, bitch. We gotta get on this.
Oh, they know each other?
Yeah, we have history. Ooh, the history. I love you, Jip Jack. All right, Miss Sykes.
I love you too, girl.
Small world out here. But
when
yeah.
It's the right world, shit.
You see, that's the one thing me and Jip Jack always were able to do was talk and really connect through it all. No matter what we went through. You know what I mean? I love Jip Jack. Okay.
But what I was gonna say about the whole thing is I think like Flame is purposely placating to straight people in order to gain a coin. Like it's very like agenda based, it's very obvious, it's very like this string of interviews, like you said, promoting nothing. And then trying to weaponize your maleness in a female.
Yeah.
And like the difference between like myself and like a Flame Monroe is like I always enter the space as a woman. There's never a time when I'm not she's not there. Like that's not how it works. So I'm just like if you have like weaponized your maleness in such a way, but use like your femininity for like monetary uses, then like yeah, you've been pimping yourself. Like
wait, I want to go back. Hold on, I want to go back to something you just said real quick. So you said that your womanhood, that you're always showing up as a woman. So yeah. I feel like a lot of older queer people, they don't believe that you can still be a woman without looking like one. I think that's
without the gimmick, without the
that's the miseducation that's happening. Like
does exist. AGs are a thing. Like masculine women exist.
Exactly.
Like,
that's right.
What do you mean?
And then there's people that believe that women don't have beards also.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean, when you put yourself,
but you know, that's their narrative. That's their narrative. That you can't be a woman because you have a beard. You have a penis.
Been across the seas. Go to Paris. Some bitches got full mustaches and are
exactly.
Go to any remote Pakistani village for that matter.
Cut it the fuck out.
Like,
live your life. See the world.
You know, I can't help. I just can't help to think about how the world has created a way to use whatever privilege they have available and accessible to them to create their own narrative and what they believe, but are losing the fact that they're not respecting everyone else's narrative and who they are. You can't be so adamant about who you are and not respect someone else's truth. And that's the problem with Flame Monroe. You, sir, are.
You sir.
Jib Jack, you know I'm crazy. You know I'm crazy. No, but I'm not crazy.
You, sir, Flame, are a hack.
I'm not crazy. The world wants to make me feel like I'm crazy. They want us to feel like we don't know what we're talking about. They don't want. We are a threat to the cis hetero white supremacy based people of this world that have learned how to control the most oppressed at that. How weak of a person are you to go to a show and get a platform and spread a message of hate? Even if you are a comedian and you want to have a kiki, fine, I'll respect you. Stay in your fucking lane. Sit in that stage.
Be a drag queen.
For me, I don't mind the jokes, because I think that what's partly wrong with the world is that we've all gotten just a little bit too sensitive.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the jokes.
No, I actually enjoyed the Netflix special. I found it funny.
This is what I
you
don't
call
want, but this is what I don't want.
It's a little.
But there needs to
this
be.
This is what I don't like,
but
because I've had Flame's mindset before, where I felt like I was pimping my woman. I can relate to that. When I was in my 20s, I first started my transition, you know, I was doing escort. Did it pause?
No.
I was doing escort work. Somebody called me. I was doing escort work, and I was pimping my woman. I was in that mindset because I grew up in the church, the boys' club, and I felt like masculinity made me superior to women. I thought like that in my 20s. I could sincerely say that I thought like that, and I thought that what made me what I was being born male. So now I have the understanding that that's only part of who I am. My mother and my foremothers, they are a part of me, and I mean, after I got my sex change, I thought, I was just gonna magically be some whole construct of what it means to be a woman. I thought it was just gonna magically happen for me with that surgery. When it didn't happen, I had to rediscover, and I found out it was nothing wrong with me. And then that's when I added on the pronouns there and they, because I don't mind. I don't like being called he because it erases my mother. When you say the word she, if you remove the S, you get he. If you say the word her, if you remove the word R, you get he. You can't get a man. You can't get a woman out of a man, but you can get a man out of a woman.
But that's like,
and I think that's why watching that interview of Flame, I'm sorry, I'm cutting. And it's so obvious to me the innate hate that he has towards femininity and women. You know what I mean? There's this underlying disrespect that is very, very telling of the mindset that he has, and it's a mindset that men are better than women, and I am gonna sit here and be allowed to talk this shit. I'm gonna be allowed to talk this shit and disrespect women, and including trans women, and you're gonna respect me and you're gonna give me a check based off my femininity because I am allowed to do. You see, like, I've had conversations with people and I've heard some ignorant shit, and I've been told by men that they feel that they're being erased by femininity and they're being erased. Their power and their manhood is being erased by women who.
Right, that was mine with like, poor thing.
Girl, I just looked at that.
I don't feel mine being erased.
Poor thing.
So
not understanding that femininity has the capacity to hold everything because it births everything. When you look at chromosomes, it's XX and XY. You can get an XY out of an XX, but you can't get an XX out of an XY. You can actually remove a part of XX and get XY, but you cannot do it the other way around. Femininity can hold everything.
We're a female species. We all start
out female in the womb. period. But
in the womb.
It's extremely difficult to have this conversation with people who don't have an understanding of biological sciences, social sciences, and spiritual science.
But that's why Flame appeals to the everyman, the common everyman. Because even when I was reading the I didn't watch the video, but when I was reading the comments under the video, it was like, well, oh, I can fuck with this type of trans person because this person knows they're a man and they not about that shit. They not about trying to change our minds and that. So what Flame is doing, who's Flame's audience? I feel like Flame knows exactly what they are doing, and they know exactly who they're trying to target. But the crazy point is that we don't live in the time that we used to live in, where you can just say that and we're not allowed to critique you or to push back. And it's just too many examples of Black trans people being great, living in their greatness, for Flame to just come in and say, "Oh no, we're overreacting and we're oversensitive." And don't get me wrong, and I watched the comedy special. It is funny, but no shade. It's a very low brow and it's very basic. And those jokes are jokes that any trans person can tell. It's not like she's doing. It's not like Flame is doing.
Speak the truth, sister. Speak
it's not like Flame is being.
And then for her to come to
groundbreaking.
It's not groundbreaking. Any one of us could tell those jokes. It's not like those like Flame is telling jokes.
But let's still see the fact that she is the first, known Black trans.
No, I wasn't finished. It's not groundbreaking.
But no girl wants to get stuck in that quicksand and degrade themselves like that. Like, we've all been in that space where Flame is, but Flame stayed there and did not grow past that. And now Flame has a platform to spew that stuff that we've all moved past.
Right.
Like, Flame even had the audacity to say one time that.
Wait, hold on. Can someone mute? Whoever has the noise, please mute. Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Kameen.
When Flame said that when trans women get ready to fight, that we all spew this narrative. We say some shit like, I'm still a man. Don't forget I'm a man. I don't say no shit like that.
That's a bullshit.
I don't say no
It's the amount of fights that I seen on World
I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but even if you do, that still doesn't change the fact that your identity is a trans woman and that's who you are.
Right.
Yeah, but why would I say, don't forget I'm still a man, like as to say that that's where my strength comes from?
Exactly, because you're just misgendering yourself if you do.
And that's what I can't respect about Flame. It's like this idea that our strength comes from our maleness or that male appendage that we were born with. Like women aren't strong. Like anything that we do that's ambitious or has vision or power, it's because we were born male or born with male appendage. Like I have to come from under that narrative, because that does not give hope to my trans daughters, my nieces, my cis nieces, my biological sisters, mothers. I have to move away from that thinking, because we are oppressing the ones who birth tomorrow. Like, this is crazy. And it's not always about physical birth. It's also about spiritual birth, because just because I'm a trans woman, that doesn't mean that I can't give birth to anything. We all have the potential to birth things, and some things are born in the physical plane and some things manifest. We start businesses, we start all types of organizations that last
movements
for hundreds of years. So we are all giving birth, and that's one of the things that really bothers me about the cisgender community. You know, a lot of cis heterosexual people, they feel like they are so important because they make the babies, but none of y'all would have anything to do if it wasn't for the content that we gave the world. We make this shit worth doing. You know, we add life, like we are the spirituality of this world. You know, and we birth things all the time, and we don't get credit for it because we so focused on the slaves that's being born for the plantation.
And I think that that's important to say that when cisgender people who are hetero, I feel like they have such an innate hate of us because I've seen it, I've experienced it with my own situations when they presume you to be smarter than them or more revolutionary than them, or your mindset transcends their ignorant thinking. It is a threat to them. So the way they get to us to make us feel less than is by disrespecting the person that we are. That's exactly what they like to do. And that's why I have an issue with Flame Monroe. Like, you're falling under the category of hate. You could have a difference, you could have a different opinion, you can say whatever you want, but are you coming from a place of hate and ignorance, or are you coming from a place of love and change?
Honestly,
And that note,
she's a cis. She's a cis. Actually, we calling her she, but really, honestly,
We need
she's
to
a
stop
cis.
calling her she. She's not a she. And
They,
I don't
they
care. And let me
Flame
tell you
is a
something about
cis.
people saying that we are
Flame is
like,
a cis man.
and
Flame is
let
a
me
cis
tell you something about
heterosexual man
let me tell you
with
something about
titties.
people saying that we are gatekeepers and this and that. I'm sorry, excuse me. As long as we know what we who we are and what we want, and we know that we love everyone, but we're not going to be allowed people to fucking just disrespect us and be like considered into our community. Like, a community was raised off the needs for each other, for the love of each other. Period.
And look at this. Look at this. Technically, because Flame hasn't transitioned in his mind, because transition is not just about physical change, not always about physical change, but it is about a mental change. And because Flame has not transitioned in his mind, we could still technically view him as a cis heterosexual male.
That's
Hey,
correct.
the way that Flame writes off jokes, I believe y'all.
So Jerry Truman is actually a cis male. He's a comedian himself. So I'll let you introduce yourself and definitely get into your thoughts about Flame Monroe as a comedian and as a man who is trans attracted.
Whew, lots to put on the plate there. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jerry Truman, and I am actually a comedian in the Atlanta comedy scene. And my thoughts about the whole Flame Monroe thing is, I feel the same like most people, because some of the stuff that Flame actually says is actually like dismissing the stuff that I learned as a cis male on how to treat trans people. And the stuff that Flame just actually did on the Breakfast Club actually had I don't even know how to say it, because it was like appalling, like how most people would say, but it actually, Flame just actually fed the bigot machine. That's how I could just put it.
Flame what?
Fed the bigot machine.
Okay. Anything else?
You know what's crazy? It's that Flame talked about how he was able to call out gay white men in his interview, but his behaviors are very based off white men and it's like, how are you might as well just go on the show and call us faggots, and exactly what the oppressor calls us, and be a real bitch.
They don't lie. Oh yeah.
I mean, basically did.
But I know, but the thing is, he's a scary man.
But the funny thing is, because I have my theory about the faggot gene. So I've, with the whole faggot thing, I think that the faggot gene is this adoration and worship for masculinity. Like, I just want to worship masculinity just because. So I don't think that the faggot gene is exclusive. I think that, you know, cis women who baby their children, baby their boys, and, you know, let boys get away with certain things, you know, or uphold King Jesus. You know, I feel like that's a faggot gene. And I also feel like cis heterosexual men can have the faggot gene by how they will talk sweetly and lovingly to one another and then down talk females or down talk their feminine partners. They'll be like the bitch and the hoe, and I kept that hoe and I did this. But then when you talking about your homeboy, you talking out lovingly and sweetly about his ass. So yeah, we all can have the faggot gene. It's not. And Flame got a big faggot gene. Cause I ain't never seen nobody sleeping with women, but you still riding all these men dicks. I mean, Flame is a dick rider. I mean, how you ride that much dick and you ain't having sex with nothing but females? I don't understand this. You ride big dicks.
People don't understand that when you disrespect the trans women, you're disrespecting all women, because we as divine goddesses and individuals that exude this energy from our soul and that people are able to see is very it's very similar to the energy that some women have. And
did you see the way she had all of them popping fans and she was flirting with Charlamagne the God? Did you see that?
He did a lot. You know what he did? You know what he did as a man?
Yeah, I saw that. And then I teach Solomon how to pop the fan as well.
You know what?
Solomon.
You know, I just think people are really caught up in trying to erase us and trying to keep the narrative going that we don't know who we are and we are somehow less than people. And we're not. We're very smart individuals. We're very educated. We're survivors. Oh shit, that window just fell. We're survivors, bitch. That window scared me. Hold on. I'm gonna come back.
So, Jerry, I want you to definitely dive in more as a comedian. Like, what do you think about her routine?
Yeah, what do you think about his routine?
I would say the routine was very talented and all, and it was crafted as well, as if Flame just went to various places to try to work on it, and it came out as well. And then the airport jokes had me like in stitches, like, damn, got like huge laughs and everything, and it just had me like, wow. I gotta make sure I get my
attracted to Flame Monroe?
As much as I hate to say this, yes. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I actually got sticky right now just thinking about Flame. As much as I hate to say this.
Oh my.
Ooh.
Oh my. So oh wow. That's oh wow. Oh wow.
And it's kind of crazy because I usually have this whole mindset that I don't go around fucking the other comedians.
Hold on. I just stepped away. What was that? What happened?
Oh wow. Oh wow. This is too much.
Can you please repeat that without any interruptions?
We're talking about how I have the hots for like Flame Monroe, and I feel like pretty embarrassed a little bit.
He said he got a
I'm trying to figure what did he say after that?
He said he got a stiffy. That's what he said.
Oh, so you have a stiffy for Flame Monroe.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
As much as I
so you like older women.
He said the wood.
I do, especially older black women that can be like in their.
She still want to give
70s
Flame that
probably.
femininity. She still want to give Flame that femininity. So you like older men?
I'm a bisexual.
Y'all being messy. Ooh. She said you like older men.
that's what Flame said he is. He said he a man. All I'm doing is supporting his view.
But I'm actually
That man say
bisexual,
he
but
a
no
real
matter
nigga.
how Flame just.
He say he a real
Well, no
nigga.
matter.
So you like real niggas.
Ain't
Yeah, I
nothing
like
wrong
men
with
and
that.
women.
There's no shame to that. Keep it real. I appreciate that. Like why do we laugh at people that say that they are bi or they, I feel like it's crazy. Like that scares men from wanting to be open.
Yeah, because if he bisexual, he bisexual.
Wait. People are gonna be attracted to every single thing in the world. That's a given. So that's not the issue. What the issue is that we had a man go onto a platform and represent us in a very negative way, and kind of just throw us under the bus. Their own internalized transphobia against us is very obvious. There was no need for this man to go up there and talk all the shit that he talked, and then have the men around him kind of clap for him, but had the nerve to say that they were confused about trans women who had come on their show and had said their stories, and they were confused about them. Why is it that people are confused about us when we say we are a fucking woman and we are a man, but people are not confused about the fuckery of a male who doesn't have an identity, who identifies with every single thing under the spectrum, and that is okay. But if I'm telling you that I'm a woman, you cannot accept that or believe that. That's based on
this the funny thing. This the funny thing. Flame don't see himself as all that other stuff. Flame sees the woman, like he said, he pimping
as
her.
a paycheck.
Bring home the check. It's a gimmick.
As a paycheck.
And all of that other stuff. He see himself as a man, but he has learned how to use his connection to his femininity to get what he wants, because there's a connection. And I'm not gonna say Flame is not.
How many more people? Let me tell you how many more people in the media that represent supposedly trans women are doing the same thing. Many, because I'm not gonna say any names, but I've been on sets with prominent individuals who say they love and respect trans women, but behind the scenes, you could tell that they're intimidated by a trans woman.
But this is a question that we have to ask ourselves as trans women, and for time since we've always argued in this community, about what came first, the gay person or the trans person. What came first, the drag queen or the trans person? Like it's like what does it take? What does it take to be trans? Like how do you identify? And so many times when we talk about these identifiers for being trans, we always allude to this superficial physical stuff.
Because
and that's why when I wrote Extraordinary Queen, when I was asked to write a poem about trans women,
sociology and spirituality. You cannot have this conversation with people if that don't have a basis in biology, sociology, and spirituality. Okay, there's a difference.
But this is the thing for me. I don't think that. I think Flame is someone, because Flame was raising children, they did not get a chance to do the work. They just stepped into dad mode.
I'm sorry, when you have children,
basically just went into dad mode. Like I'm a man first.
Nope.
I'm raising these children. I'm a man. I don't think that.
Wait, hold on. Let's get a different opinion, because I hear Jip Jack talking, and I know Jip Jack, and Jip Jack has a very evolved mind, and his wordings I respect it, and I want to hear what he says.
When you have children, that's your opportunity to do the work. He missed his opportunity to do the work when he decided that he was going to be comfortable, or let himself be comfortable changing himself for his children's surroundings by creating a vacuum of shame around the idea that he could actually be a woman. Okay, in the situations where he would be able to go to the PTA meetings as their mother, and go to these other functions and events as their mother. So again, when you're up against people who will say out their mouth, no woman has a penis when women and men are a social construct designed by people who
Right.
spiritual understanding of what it meant to inhabit the feminine energies of spirit,
Yes.
the masculine energies of spirit. Biology be damned. If you don't understand those things, then you cannot even have the conversation from a place of authority. Then a space for Flame Monroe to be in the trans community by speaking of how she or how he or how they experience their transness without them generalizing it as though because they experience their transness that way, that you have to experience yours that way. And that is my major issue with her. Because end of the day, it's yes, as a two-spirited individual, I understand that and have it within me, I have full representation of both the feminine energies and the masculine energies. Those things show up how they show up. I'm not sitting here, I don't come into situations as a man and perpetuating my maleness, because end of the day, that's inconsequential. You are going to feel my spirit as it needs to be felt by you.
Yes.
Feel my woman, that is what you need in the moment. If you feel my man, that is what you need in the moment. I happen to be born male, and I'm okay with that to some degree. I suffer.
That's right.
Every now and then, but end of the day, my transness doesn't erase anybody else's transness. The issue with him is that he has the audacity to go on platforms and say, "Oh, how I experience my trans identity is transness." Period.
Shut it down. Period. That's Jip Jack for you. Jip Jack, I miss you so much.
I miss you too, bitch. We gotta hang. You in New York?
We gotta kiki. I'm in New York. I'm in Harlem, off 125th.
Yes.
You know my soul is a Harlem girl.
You gotta come through.
Listen, I think it's important to just say that why is it that we cannot just get the respect for our differences if we are considered to be different?
Right.
But everyone else's difference is being, I see it everywhere. Everyone else is striving and kind of, getting platforms and getting situations and moves happen for them.
We need space for revolution, like in this very capitalist driven society. Like the idea of trans people, like that people can exist in the in-between and beyond, anywhere on the spectrum, like free space to question a lot of shit that people wouldn't normally question. So it's easier to try to erase us and malign us than accept us because it doesn't fit in with what America is supposed to.
No, not America.
Well, the world. Well, no, not every society in the world has beef with trans people. I'm not even I wouldn't even make that generalization.
Because to go to the point of some conversation about what came first, the chicken or the egg, the trans bitch or the drag bitch, at the end of the day, transness and homosexuality and heterosexuality are always simultaneously in the ancient world.
Yeah, and that's naturally because they're all parts of each other, but people want to argue that and talk about we're multifaceted beings.
Period.
We're humans. We're the same species, for God's sake. We're gonna do weird shit from time to time, or shit that's natural to us. Homosexuality exists in all mammal species. Male bears will suck each other's dick. It happens. So it's
this is what I believe. I believe that before colonization happened, we were all in the village. If you had sex with this person, you made a baby. If you had sex with this person, you didn't, but y'all all raised the children together.
Right.
They split up the family. When people talk about how the LGBTQI, all the rest of the letters, when people talk about how we're destroying the black family,
no, we
I
take care of
say that colonization destroyed the black family.
We take care of the babies y'all don't fucking want. And
wait. People are using us. People are using us for the fact is that they're using us to allow themselves to believe that they somehow are better than in this world. And if that illusion is destroyed, they won't have nothing. And that's the big issue. And I'm gonna tell you guys this. I'm open to you about this. My little platform that I have, the last month that I've been doing my little thing on social media, the amount of transgender women and men messages, private messages that I'm getting about them hiding in their rooms, isolating because of fear, not going out because they don't want to get disrespected, is very saddening, because
it's like raging.
It shows how what the society does to us. It pushes us into a corner and it makes us hide, because they don't want to feel like a trans woman. And this is for cis women too. When cis women feel like threatened by a trans woman, is not because we were born physically male, we're spiritually female. It's because they feel that once if we are accepted in the same spaces as them, where would their hierarchies that have been created since the beginning of time go?
Mm-hmm. Well, those hierarchies haven't been around since the beginning of time.
Right, and that's the thing.
That's a side effect of colonialism.
Exactly, those hierarchies are perpetuated by whiteness. So, end of the day, half of these people want to oppress trans people, gay people, etc., because they don't feel like they have the firepower to go after the actual oppressor. They don't.
Exactly. They're afraid of the white man.
Hold on. I'm gonna mute. I need to mute everyone to let Miss Sykes' partner speak, because we're not hearing her. People in the comments say they don't hear. So I'm gonna mute people to let Miss Sykes' partner speak and get your point across.
Right. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, that hierarchy that people are clinging to is perpetrated by whiteness and white colonialism. End of the day, everybody, the ideology of live and let live is paramount to humankind. There's no way that we could have even survived this long without live and let live. And the fact that we are going to die off of this planet, that this planet is destroying us, essentially making sure that it's inhabitable to us, is due to the white ideal that we have to control each other's space. Okay, so essentially the problem is all of these people, from white women all the way down to Black women and Latino women and etc., feel the need to oppress us as trans people, because they don't feel that they have the firepower to take it to the actual oppressor. They don't feel like they have what it takes to take it to the white man. But end of the day, all of this energy, like example, when we talk about, like somebody brought up they feel like we are destroying the Black family unit. No, the people who are destroying the Black family unit are the white people that have you ready to kill us for being ourselves and not hurting you whatsoever, not destabilizing your economy whatsoever, not taking any of your shit, any of your resources away from you whatsoever. In fact, we have less resources than you motherfuckers, but you still feel like we are doing something to you. No, it is these people that have a sense, because they want to put gay and transness on white people. No, honey. If it's about love, Africans created it. Mm-hmm. If it's about identity, Africans.
But Jib Jack, when you say that, it goes to the point that I was making, that people feel like if we get ahead, we somehow are going to surpass them and take everything that they've built for themselves or whatever they believe is theirs.
Right, but Ultraviolet,
that's the ideals that this nation was founded upon. That's when those 50,
that's capitalism.
White men all look the same wig, the same makeup, the same outfits, gathered in a room. They wasn't thinking about my crooked teeth, my wide nose, my thick lips, my femininity, my Blackness. They wasn't thinking about that. We were property. We were slaves. We were an afterthought. The nuclear family destroyed the tribe. It destroyed the togetherness and all that sense that we had. So we are all trying to fit into a box that was created by a room full of white men who look just alike.
And people want to get a seat at a table that is made off of our backs. Like, you cannot sit somewhere that your back is broken in order to create. That is not how the shit works.
Like, we are the table.
Period.
Like, fucking seat. Like, they built it from our labor. They built it from our intellectual property.
From our skin and bone. From our literal skin and bone.
You know what white people were eating before, like, colonialism and slavery? Like, look at medieval recipe books. Like, it's disgusting.
Hold on 1 second, everybody. I keep hearing a click clack noise. Jerry Truman, are you jacking off?
Oh my goodness!
I'm still here in the house.
Are you jacking off the Flame Monroe photos?
I'm dead.
I'm done.
Nah, I'm still here.
I'm done.
Are you jacking off the Flame Monroe's photos?
No.
Okay.
I feel embarrassed that I'm practicing to the enemy.
No, I'm just playing.
I know.
But did you want to add anything else? Because I was gonna let you go. I was gonna let you go and let someone else come on because there's a 5-person limit.
We would love to have you on our podcast.
Okay, Gazi, you need to be on the new country, girl.
Yes.
But yeah, end of the day, like I saw someone say, blame it on religion. Nah, see, like false Christianity, like we can't even get into the Vatican. Like I don't know if there's enough time in the day to get into to that.
Oh, Lord.
But end of the
day, God,
yeah.
Hold on. Jerry, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts, okay? I'm going to let you go.
Thanks for having me, and great show, and man, y'all was deep there, so.
Take care, hon.
Good. Bye.
All right. Okay, so.
Baby,
hey.
He gagged me.
Hey, how are you?
He gagged me when he said that he wanted some of Flame.
That he had the hots for Flame. I was gagging, honey.
I mean, she is an attractive woman, but when she tells me she's a man, now I have to see you as an attractive man.
A beautiful man.
Pretty man.
With beautiful boobs. Oh, her breasts are lovely. Ooh.
Okay, Rick Ross
she got them she got the Mariah Carey tits. I love her tits. That's a beautiful.
Yes, right.
Her breasts fit lovely. No shade. I want you to introduce yourself. Devon, please introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Devon. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm sorry my camera is like murky. Phone problems. I hope you can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just I'm into fashion. I am an advocate. Actually, here in Charlotte, we have a it's called State of Emergency. It's for our trans youth here, and we host it every other Sunday. I'm gonna be the moderator for next discussion that we're gonna have. Because over some things that our Charlotte trans youth needs in order for them to succeed and everything. So I'm just here.
Man, some of these comments
we want your thoughts. What's your thoughts, hon? What's your thoughts on Flame Monroe? I know that when I put the post, you were ready to come on and
yeah, like so
go off.
The thing with her or how Flame wants to identify as, I feel like for so many years, from what I've seen, trans has been a monolith to so many cis Black people, and it's frustrating for me because I'm like, I live an experience of a Black gay man, and I see through a third eye, and I don't understand why we can't just accept people for who they are in general. Like, I saw so many people in the YouTube comments saying, I'm so glad that she said that she's a man, or I'm so glad that finally a trans person that makes sense. And I'm like, no, that makes sense for her life. That's how the fuck she wants to identify, but that's not the encompassment of all trans people.
Period.
So that's what pisses me off is like, like people like, Flame or Blair White, people will just go and be like, oh, that's the trans person that makes sense. And I'm like, no, for you, because you're an ignorant bitch. I don't got time for that. Like, we should just accept people for who they are, just in general. I always tell people, let people tell their stories. And I feel like there are so many people that are obsessed with genitalia to the degree where it's so unhealthy.
Agreed. Oh, yeah.
Right. No, I agree with what you're saying. I Kaneen, did you want to chime in? Because I muted your mic because I'm getting a lot of noise from your end. So I'm going to unmute you, Kaneen, because I definitely want you to have a response for Devon.
Yeah, I don't feel like genitalia determines the energy that you will be channeling.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we feel we feel that because we're born with born with the tools in which we'll use to procreate or receive sexual pleasure, or just how we'll navigate life. The testimony that we'll have. Biological females who have cycles, they have that narrative. They have the things that come from having that narrative. Trans women who are born, whether we're pre-op, post-op, or non-op, we all go down different paths. But the overarching theme and the overarching goal is, for me, it is your loyalty, it is your commitment to womanhood, to the respect of it, understanding the responsibility of it. Women have been erased in this nation. Women have birthed over 40-something presidents, yet no female has ever been in the White House. So what this nation says about women is that you can birth our presidents, but you will not be one. So it is our job. I feel that as a trans woman, in my experience, and I consider myself to be whole. I use the term "le lim le ler," which means let him, let her, and it reminds me that I am both my mother and my father. And but I'm female gender dominant, so I lean more to my feminine side. And I feel that it was necessary for my time and my breed, because I feel like all of the negative things that have happened to women throughout history, evolution has to find a way. And so the female goddess, the divine feminine, she said, okay, they were aborting female babies. They were destroying these female babies. So you know what? I'm going to put my energy inside of these male bodies. And so if you try to get me one way, we'll get you another way. And so she hid herself in the male body. And then she came back here with a vengeance. And I feel like it is our job to right the wrongs of our forefathers. I feel like it is our jobs as trans women. That's why I have a problem with trans women who uphold the patriarch. Why would you go through all of this trouble to model and to embody the energy of your foremothers, and then run around here and give all your praises to King Jesus? So, that's a question that I have for a lot of my sisters. So, and that's why I had to step away, because I was supposed to be a historian and a theologian who added to his story. I'm tired of telling his story, and that's why I'm not a popular girl. That's why everybody don't know me, because I'm not always giving praises to King Jesus.
Same.
My story is to talk about, my mother's story, my grandmother's story, my sister's story, my niece's story, my trans sister's stories. And if I never become famous, if no one ever knows me, as long as I pass the baton and as long as the work continues, because we are many, my sisters are many, and we will keep coming. We will not stop. We are relentless.
But I have something I want to say. I want to say this. It's fine and it's amazing. It's great. It's great that we're able to educate the masses and whoever we have to educate about who we are. But what do we do as a community to combat this in a bigger platform? Do we go and get another interview at Breakfast Club and call everyone out? Or what are we gonna do as a community to bring out the message that it doesn't matter what the fuck you think about me and what your opinion is, but you will respect me, period.
Wait, give Jack say something. Go ahead. It's gonna take grassroots efforts in our own community from people that understand what we understand on this line.
But our community is scared, Jack. You know how many there are people doing work, but the amount of people that are afraid and they're so traumatized by everything they've been seeing and that they have been exposed to in order for them to be afraid, there's not a lot of support for us. Even Ashley's Tea Time Network Instagram and all the work she has done. She has done work for the last 5-7 years, and people will not repost the videos, including our own community. They will not repost the videos. They will not educate others by sharing or doing anything, because they are afraid to be seen as someone who's going to destroy the illusion of what is considered to be successful in this world, or what is, like, I don't know, Jack, me and you, we've had this conversation since back in 2015. And what have we seen that has happened?
People take their individual as successes as community progress, and the shits are definitely illusionary, right? So what it really takes is more conversations like this between people like us. It takes us sharing, liking, subscribing to each other.
So let me share this real quick, because I think it's important that there's people watching.
Yeah, but then it's like, it seems like we have to. People say that calling out people is problematic, but there are people that are being put in these platforms that are spreading this kind of message, that have the power to uplift other people, and they choose not to. How could someone with no power be a gatekeeper? I don't understand how people are calling us gatekeepers by having this conversation. How are we being gatekeepers?
Because because they say we don't understand oppression and privilege, but they don't themselves. And the thing is, all these people that are being given a platform are being given a platform on things with an agenda to keep Black and brown and oppressed people oppressed. So today, if you get a mic on these platforms, they're going to be using your voice to go against your people. So as eloquent as you could be, as much sense as you can make, they're going to be using it against your will. If it was any one of us, if any one of us was to appear on Breakfast Club, I promise you they would be marketing it in a way that would keep those people that want to oppress us and want to have privilege over us in that spot and keep us divided.
But when do we, as our own individuals, as own individuals take responsibility for oppressing each other in the same manner? Because we sit here and we there's people that have platforms and they're asking for equality, but they themselves are oppressing people behind the scenes. And let's keep it real. I was on Pose. There's Black trans women that are literally homeless, sleeping in trains, have no money, and they're made to believe that somehow they might get a part, or they're chasing a dream, and the people that have the power to help them are not getting.
And people have rights, and people can be bought.
Because
I think I can answer your question on that too. So I feel like when it comes down to accountability, I feel like that's a big factor. That starts with each individual, holding people accountable for their actions, and I don't feel like people know what that looks like. But say, for instance, for example, when it comes down to people in our inner circle acting up and misrepresenting and basically fucking up the facts. I was trying to find a better word for it, but we have to hold people accountable on all levels of our life when it comes down to this. If you don't do that and you let people slide by with ignorant bullshit, then you get what we see today. And that's the problem, is like there's so many people that just don't want to hold people accountable. You can hold someone accountable and still like them. I think that's also another narrative that people don't understand, is that you can hold somebody accountable to hold their feet to the fire. Like Tamron Hall is
I like Flay Monroe. I just don't like the shit she says.
Okay, this is my thing. So first of all, it's not
a witch hunt. I don't want no one to think that this is a witch hunt.
And I don't feel like that's what this is either.
But people could twist it around and say that we're attacking her. We're not attacking her. We're responding.
We're not attacking her. We got attacked. We got attacked.
She set out a narrative, and her narrative spoke to who he is or who Flame is.
Right.
And now we're making sure that people understand that that is not a hive-minded thought. We are a collective conscious. We are a gumbo, not a fondue. There is a lot of different flavors and different ingredients in this pot. We don't all look the same. We don't all experience life the same. And Flame will not be the what that is, the mascot for the trans community. Flame will not be the character that you think of when you think of transness. And the way to combat that is doing exactly what we're doing now.
Exactly.
So if people feel like this is gatekeeping, then yes, I am keeping my community, my realm, the being, I'm responsible for myself. I'm a universe, and I'm speaking from my universe. I'm speaking from my world. We've been silenced enough, and patriarchy, with or without titties, will never silence me again. How about that?
I say, it's funny that I want to call us gatekeepers when in the ancient times that y'all seem to continuously ignore, pre-colonial times, it was third gender, trans women, trans men that were your witch doctors that were literally keeping the gate to the other side of the veil.
And that's what it really means.
So
that's what it really means. But we didn't let the colonizer make us believe that gatekeeping is negative. But it originally was positive because beings like us walked in between worlds.
Exactly.
And we were the keepers of the gates. They took it and made it into negative, just like they made voodoo into something negative.
I say, Aibo.
Not patriarchy with titties though. Not patriarchy.
That shit did gag me. He said that though.
You can uphold the patriarchy with titties.
With titties, with a womb, with a bleeding vagina.
Yes, you can. Yes,
no,
you can.
But I think I also brought this up. And I see this a lot with a lot of the younger Black trans activists that are coming into prominence. If you're really tapped into community, not even because Flame has always said that they're not a part of community, but you have to be mindful when people say that they are a part of something, but they don't have any people around them. They don't have a village around them because if Flame was really in community.
Flame is not the only trans woman with a platform that is like that.
Right.
But again,
there's a lot of trans women. There's a lot of trans women that...
Wait, let me say it.
You go down to Instagram post and they're hanging out with nothing but cis white people.
Wait a minute. But before we get to, I'm not going into that. I said that to say this. Somebody that was in the community and that has a village of trans folks around them would know that the Breakfast Club is not a safe space for us, or they would have tried to get counsel, or they would have brought somebody else with them to balance out the conversation. So I think that it's also of note to really be mindful of who people are surrounding themselves with or choosing not to surround themselves with, because we can also determine intention from that way, because I see so many trans folk on this quest to be on, or this quest to be visible. Visibility is going to liberate.
Girl, the Breakfast Club, Brianna, the Breakfast Club ain't a safe place for the Breakfast Club. You see Charlamagne and Lgbt.
Right. But it's known in community that that's a no-no. We don't do no interview. And then even with the Malik Yoba situation, man,
Lord,
that was even a shit show, because the trans women on there, although they weren't being called men or disrespected, they allowed this straight cis man and this gay man to overtalk these two trans women. So community-wise, that is not a safe space for us. And somebody that was really invested in community and that really cared about community wouldn't have even gone there. We wouldn't even see. But clearly, this is somebody that's trying to be put on. They're trying to milk their 15 minutes of fame from being on this special.
Exactly.
Right.
Because Charlamagne was like, "You finally a trans person that makes sense." And
let's keep it on something real quick too. So as a community, and not to interrupt you in any way, but the thing that always kind of pisses me off is, say for instance, with companies like Chick-fil-A or companies like uh basically I'll just use
Salvation
Chick-fil-A
Army.
for example. You know that Chick-fil-A, I'll use Chick-fil-A as an example for the Breakfast Club. You know that Chick-fil-A has you know they use anti-LGBT legislation, but yet and still gay people still flock to them and go to them when there are so many other restaurants and there are so many other places to get your source of information from. And
Right.
there are people that openly say that they are and have proven that they are for the LGBTQ community, yet and still we flock towards Breakfast Club. Like they're the one all be all. And like we don't have Hot 97 and we didn't have Angela Martinez and we don't have all these other shows that are more inclusive that haven't made any of us look like a damn fool. But yet and still we flock towards the Breakfast Club like they're the pinnacle of fucking radio.
Preach. But you know, like somebody in the comments was like, "Oh, like we don't understand oppression. Oppression is the fact that our parents and family still eat at Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
and that has a psychological weight on us that makes our issues seem trivial enough to go and still patronize said business. You know, like no, there's a sickness other than whiteness, and it came from whiteness, and it's individualism. No human being's life was created in a vacuum. We are in charge of each other's psychological health, and no matter what anybody fucking says, that is just it. Our parents, our loved ones, the people that love us, that still decide to support these businesses, support these news outlets and media outlets, support these artists, support these educational tools, support all these things that don't support us, are making a statement. And if you in your heart feel that their point of view is worth something, that the worth that you place in their point of view then finds its space in your heart, and therefore will make your issues lessened in your own eyes. So then you can go do Chick-fil-A, and you can go feel like you'll be on a Breakfast Club interview and things of that nature, because well, yeah, it is what it is, because cishet people have this privilege that things can be what they are because they're not oppressed in and of their own sexuality and identity. So they can go, oh, well, it is what it is. I like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has a good biscuit, and that's it.
But see,
I like their waffle fries,
like,
but I haven't been there in years.
Right,
I ain't never supported it.
No shade. If Flame was really smart, I've been thinking of this because I've been thinking about being a comedian, doing a bit about how being in the community, you know, you're not supposed to eat a fucking Chick-fil-A, but sometimes, honey, Chick-fil-A be testing you, or you be going in with the hoodie over your head, hoping don't nobody
hoping don't nobody see you in the community. I want to know what the fucking hype is about, and have yet. Don't do it.
You be hoping don't nobody in the community see you at
and that be the day all the paparazzi be there. Don't do it.
But I think it goes back to us keeping money in our own community, and we don't do that. You know, we really don't. It's like we've been like brainwashed to believe that anything that is that's ran by white people, cis people, it's something that's more valuable. And
that's right.
That's another reason why there's only like 30 people listening to this, because it's not ran by a white trans woman or a white cis woman or a white cis man. And when I ask people to be a part of things, they don't see a blue check next to my name and they think that there's no value in it, but there is. And I just wanted to like add that. Yeah, I want to definitely get into that, how we don't see the value in each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And how in social media, especially the sellouts with the blue it's like we have to see someone, even with the Instagram likes. I'm all for them removing the likes, because people use that to be divisive, and half of the time the likes are not even accurate.
Right. They not.
But that still goes to me that point.
What you mean the likes ain't accurate?
You can pay for
You
likes.
can buy likes, yeah.
You can.
Oh
You
my!
You can buy likes. You can
buy followers.
You can buy insights.
You can buy shares.
Right.
Right. So in the community, instead of supporting,
I did not know that.
That's good. Go get you some likes, girl.
On the game.
I think it's like $1 for like 50 likes.
For like 50 likes, girl.
99 cents for 5 likes.
Wow. Group get you 10,000 likes, girl.
Wow.
So with that being said, it's really interesting how people are given platforms based on likes when likes are really a facade.
Right.
So there are people who can really make their page look so legit. 100,000 followers and all these likes, and they only got one post.
Okay,
and then they're getting magazine covers and gigs to speak about a life that they're not even in community. Like Brianna was saying,
I want to say this, Ashley,
are not in community. They don't even know a girl who's from the grassroots up.
Ashley,
they don't know. We are those girls.
Ashley, when I sat on that set for the first time, I was in a space where I could see the behind the scenes of the entertainment industry and being in front of the camera. I sat there. You know how I am, Jip Jack. I pay attention to everything.
Yes.
And my third eye is so awakened that I can see through people and their energies and who they are. And I sat there and I saw that all of that is literally a facade.
Right.
I could never understand before. I was still a little bit enamored by like Hollywood and cameras and sets and shit. But when I tell you that these people are literally broke themselves and they're building, they have 80 comments and have 600,000 followers and have 100,000 likes and 100. You could even buy views. You could buy views.
You can buy insights. You can buy people to like boost up, like literally, like the SEO of your page.
But they're literally using this facade and this illusion to assume that they're successful to the world, and kind of get attached those people that are ignorant, that don't know any better, but behind the scenes they actually don't care about the community.
Right, but Ultraviolet, they couldn't possibly, because again, they were given a platform by people who would mean to continue to see you oppressed and divided. You know what I'm saying? So end of the day, like even if they did actually care, they can't be seen as caring, because if they're seen as caring, then they won't get the potential check that they're hanging over their heads like an apple.
And that's exactly what I needed you to say, because when I sat there and I saw this, and I'm gonna be honest. When I sat there and I'm not gonna say any names because I don't know. I'm in a space in my head where I'm trying to figure out what's the best move for my community. Everything that I do is for my community. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to leave some money behind once I'm gone for my community. So I'm not going to say any names, but I will say this. I had a situation where I was sexualized, and I was the only girl sexualized on that set. You looked around and everybody was covered but me. And at that moment, I noticed that there was an agenda behind it. They wanted to use my sensuality for their moment on camera. I sat there and I got disrespected by somebody. I was getting pushed. I was getting shoved in front of the camera. You have me literally in front of the camera and you have all the leads to the side. And I'm getting pushed and shoved by someone, which first of all, it was a setup. Somebody was setting me up to embarrass me and for me to get a reaction out of. And I ended up sitting back down, and I refused to stand up. When I refused to stand up, the person in charge, when they came out and they looked at me with the devil stare, let's say that, I knew at that moment that I had rejected something that they had never thought any of us would. And even the individuals who are playing the part for publicity and are playing the part for that check, I nudge something in them to that they never thought anyone would do. And the way they approached me afterwards was with respect. And they viewed me in a different light. They viewed me as like, oh, this bitch is really about it. And that's when the illusion of all this celebrity and fame and success went away, because my worth and who I am as a trans woman is way more important than any type of fucking fake ass shit that you think you're gonna give me.
Ultraviolet, people are saying that you have to name the name because you're protecting an abuser.
And I think that
well, the I was abused by a gay man. It was an actor. It wasn't the cast. It wasn't the crew. You know, the cast and the crew, they knew exactly what was happening, but there's a lot of parts to it, you guys. There's a lot of parts to it, and I don't.
Name names, bitch. Name names.
But what do you want?
Capitalism and patriarchy go hand in hand.
Girl, it was on Pose. On Pose, I was disrespected left and right by my own community. I was. You know what? You know what happened was that so I exude a very, very strong feminine energy about me, and I also represent that physically through my body. And the moment I stepped on that set, I was a threat to every single person on that set. And the way I was made to feel at times, like I was told by a white woman, this is not all about you, on a set that is about trans women. And then this gay male, he did something on camera that was kind of like he did something on camera that kind of made him seem like it was all about him. So they cut the camera, and when they cut the camera, I turned around and I said, this is not all about him. And she shut the fuck up, and I got my respect. But it was like the amount of fighting that I had to do as a trans woman. I was being oppressed not only by my own community, but by cisgender people, by, you know, like, you're telling me that these girls on Pose who are leads have roles and they're getting all this camera time, but there's an issue with me having a moment and trying to use my moments as a way to represent for the bigger size girls and boys and you know, all this other stuff. It was a lot.
Hold on. That's why I really feel that and I love the show Pose. But I do think I have a problem with
Ashley. She never said what show.
She did so.
She did?
Oh yeah, she did. She said it. I love the show Pose, but I really do feel, and this is not a shade to you, Ultraviolet.
But wait.
There needs to be a mental health. Hold on, let me say this. There needs to be a mental health evaluation for extras. The fact that you told me and you mentioned that there are extras that were currently homeless being extras. So you're just, the fact that you're just taking strays, the bottom of the bottom and giving them $15 a day, $15 an hour.
But they don't know that. They don't know that. You know what I mean? They don't know that. And I think, and I'm with you with that.
But it has to be brought to light. Like we're so used to keeping like fucking being quiet and not speaking up.
And I didn't want to speak up for the fact that I'm struggling with the fact that I am very talented and there is opportunity for me to get ahead in the entertainment industry. And I'm afraid of speaking up because, well, I already spoke up, but what was keeping me quiet was thinking, do I play the part and do it for my community and get some money out of it for us, or do I speak up and possibly ruin any chance that I have to have, a platform or to make some money for my community? Because I don't give a fuck about me. Jip Jack knows, Jip Jack, you know who I am, and you know that I've always told you since the beginning. I'm doing everything for my community. I'm trying to leave some money behind for us because I know what's happening, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what kept me quiet. But in all honesty, I don't think I fit in as an actress as much as I am an artist. You know what I mean?
So if I can help any artist or individual seeking a career in entertainment.
Wait. Let me finish saying this. The mental health thing is important because that space. You see, the reason why I didn't want to call Pose out either was because it's a brand new thing that has never been done. And I feel like the people even running it don't know how to run it and don't know how to deal with everything, because there's people in there that come with such big egos who are extras and that are only doing it for fame and for the wrong reasons, and their energy that they're bringing out is very disrespectful and not there is not like it's not first of all a lot of people were not professional. Even me, I wasn't professional. I went in there trying to, talk to people, make friendships and make connections. And that's probably where I messed up in. But it's just really sad. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how.
Let me ask everyone the Google question. Do you feel like things can be changed from the inside?
The only way that things could be changed from the inside if the people from the inside step it up and be real about what's going on.
But do you understand that getting inside and remaining inside means not doing what you're saying that they need to do?
Exactly. That's the struggle.
So that's the thing. To me, that's going to inform almost every decision that you make in terms of almost anything in this world. There's no changing shit from the inside, period. Not this government, not these industries, because at the end of the day, they are one and one, and they go hand in hand. Okay, without the entertainment industry, half of the things that people believe about Black people, the things that people believe about trans people, the things that people believe about the government, etc., would even be possible. So of course, these things go hand in hand in developing the psyche of the human being, right? And of the community and society in general. You being a real bitch is not going to get you in that room.
But that's what I was telling you.
You cannot dismantle anything from the inside. So you, first of all, coming in like, hey, I'm about to tear all this shit down, is not going to give you entry. And then if you go in there with the plan, and we've seen it time and time again, okay? When you go in there with the plan to come in there, work your little lie so that you can get by, right? And be in your little fake self so that you can get in there and everything. You can get to the level that you think, okay, now I can go get this commune. Now I can really start grabbing my people and doing this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. The second you do it, what happens? They either shit your reputation, or you're dead. Either way, you don't have those resources anymore, and those resources are unusable by the community you meant to start. There is no bitch that is going to do this by themselves, no matter how deep in the community they get. We have to literally collectively understand that there is no individualism here, and we have to not separate, and we have to literally hold hands through this shit and fucking bust the building down. Fuck breaking through the door. The building does not need to exist. Bust it down. And until we all get on that wave, until we can go to each other's house and be like X, Y, and Z, let's get together and do this, that, and third. Until we're working with each other, until we're constantly, without provocation, sharing each other's work. If we need to be sharing this video every day, twice a day.
Yeah.
You know
this is so hard for me. This is so hard for me. This is so hard for me, you guys. Like what I dealt on that set was so mentally distraught. Like and I was dealing with my own shit on the outside too, and trying to but the thing is they saw that, you see, I did cause a lot of ruckus because as a trans woman I stood up for myself a lot, and Jip Jack knows that I will fight anyone for my existence and to represent us in the proper way. And they still were booking me and booking me and booking me and booking me. And I was causing situations because I'm a type of girl that if I'm in it, if I'm dealing with it, I will call you out in order to cause a change or to plant a seed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I was getting shitted on by everyone. And there's only one person that the whole time I was on that set, I felt like, you know, the world makes you feel like you're crazy when you're a trans person and they're sexualizing you. And then they're also like making you feel like you're the problem and you're confused. You start thinking like, what the fuck is going on? But all I saw was the hate of trans women, the hate of femininity, and the hate of the woman. That's what I saw by everyone.
And what it really was, and you didn't think it was gonna be inside an artistic space.
I didn't. I walked in there thinking.
And it's like no, because anything that's gonna be mass produced is gonna be mass produced to suit the agenda. Like that's what it's gonna be mass produced for. Like Pose isn't on TV to liberate trans women. That's not the purpose.
I walked in there thinking I was gonna walk in there and it was gonna be like, oh my God, it's gonna be community and love and everything that they represent like through social media, and it was not.
Wait, Ms. Sykes, hold on, Ms. Sykes. I want you to elaborate a little more what you were saying about. You said Pose was not put on TV for trans liberation.
Yeah, that's not the point. Like anything that's gonna be mass produced for mass consumption. And especially in America, is not meant for the liberation of Black, brown, or like marginalized people. Like Pose was on TV to like suit a monetary niche. Like, oh, we can get money from trans people. We haven't like started like milking them for their coins.
Now he's not talking about the creators. He's talking about producers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the artistic element of Pose. Yes, like the message is to like tell our story.
But I do think that the message, there was a message that did go through that we're valuable. I think that was a message. I think now there's going to be more shows.
The commodity of what it is.
But how are we valuable if we're getting
valuable as far as our humanity, to see us? Like people want to see us. We can be talented. We can be humanized. We can be humanized. You know, the narrative has always been us being the dead hooker, us being in jail. Like this was. I get what y'all saying, but I also see the good that Pose has done.
It's not about negating the good. I'm sorry, Vaughn. It's not about negating the good that Pose has done. This is not about the creators. This is not about the artistic component. It's about the producers. It's about it's about Viacom. It's about, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's about
the machine.
Exactly. It's about why the machine decided that this show, which is an artistic marvel, was going to be able to be on TV.
I know this is off topic, but another situation where the machine, where you see the machine starts to see us all of a sudden as valuable. Producer Dr. Luke, you know, he was working with all these cis women, and all of a sudden he gets caught in a scandal. Kesha alleged sexual abuse by him, and then all of a sudden now he's working with a trans artist
who doesn't care, who doesn't give a fuck about us, mind you.
But he wasn't producing for no trans girl before that.
But so mind you, he's not producing for no brown or Black trans girl. He's only producing for a white trans girl who doesn't give a fuck about us. Because I've had issues with Kim Petras, and I've had issues because she's tried me, and it's like, you're not gonna try me, you white bitch, when you don't do shit for the community. You don't do nothing for the community. She tried me, like she tried to. That's a whole different story. It's a big deal. It had to do with someone that me and Chip Jack have known for a very long time, and it was music wise. You see, that's the problem that I have with people, is that they try to treat me like, the way they try to treat me on Pose was like, and even me, like my own mind kind of tricks me into thinking that I only have this one opportunity because I'm a trans woman. But I've had artists and people who are of that stature offer me platforms that I've turned down because I didn't feel as a trans woman I was being respected, or I was only being used to be used, you know?
So how did she try you? You got to give us something.
Well, she tried me because she was trying to throw subliminal, because I was gonna come out with a song with a popular artist that I don't want to talk about this person, because I've dealt with my mental health issue with this person, and this person, I still hold some type of love, this type of love for her, and she's a person that's in pain and is hurting, and I can't blame her.
Completely felt. I feel you.
And you know, Chip Check, we have a spiritual connection to this person that transcends humanity. But this person, I was going to come out with a song with this person, and I was going to get a platform finally, but I decided not to because I felt like this person was going to either ruin my reputation the moment I came out with it, or anything. So this person went to Kim Petras to try to come out with a song with her. When Kim Petras tried to come out with a song with her, Kim Petras started throwing me subliminals and trying to throw me shade. And it was like on Twitter, she was saying shit on Twitter. The girls, she was talking shit behind my back. Fans that talked to her in the group chats, they were coming to me to tell me what she was saying about me. And they know who I am because I was connected to someone that's famous, and I've had the support of their fans. So I built some type of connection to their fans and new people, and they were also connected to Kim, and they were telling me these things, and she was mad. She was just mad, and I don't throw subliminals. I say my shit. So I was calling the bitch out and saying, you know, like, you don't do nothing for the community, and you're not that talented. Like, Miss Thing, don't try to play me, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, you are the epitome of what a white trans woman does, and it's very much forget or never even acknowledge the community that helped for her to have what she has at this moment. You know?
Period. Period.
And that's why it bothers me. People think that I get jealous because I be talking shit, but it's like, no, I'm not jealous. I'm pissed that you guys will support so quickly a white trans woman who never ever has a word for the brown and black trans women that are struggling, and never uses her platform for anything other than to get ahead. And she's really actually struggling herself. So it's like you're living off of the white supremacy, and that's where white women get on my nerves, because it's like you feel like you're somehow better than, but bitch, you're struggling too in some way, and you're not really getting ahead nowhere because you have to go work with a fucking rapist. And it's like, come on, where are you getting ahead? Did you get somebody extraordinary, amazing in this industry who actually wanted to work with you, or are you just getting to work with someone who they threw at you as a bone for their own image?
Well, I stand with Kesha. I stand with Kesha.
Right.
I have so much tea, you guys. Oh, the tea is so good. I feel so much better getting some shit out because I was holding all of this in and I just didn't know how to.
Spill it, girl. Spill it.
No. I don't have no more tea to spill at this time. I'm mentally exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted, but I think I've said the most important thing, which is that we don't have support. The people in the streets, the people that are struggling, the people that are struggling in this community that are really in need of support, we don't have it. And the only people that we have is each other. And if we don't support each other, we're all gonna just live our own life and end up, and this movement that we created will not get ahead. That's all I can say.
I say.
And maybe this is what I was meant to do. You know, I didn't know how to. I think I'm so honored that I'm speaking to all of you at this moment. I feel very, very honored that I'm able to tell you all my truth, my people, because I couldn't tell anyone on that set my truth because and it was really sad seeing Black and brown, trans women, and non-binary people conforming to white supremacy in that space. And it broke my heart, and it showed me exactly where we stand. And yeah.
So I think we also have to acknowledge, and I think I can't see on this damn thing. Miss Sites, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I think you had mentioned something before, and then in the midst of the conversation, also, I had said something about assimilation. Right. So, as so many people know, I don't have to tell anybody this, but for the people watching, you know, I feel like it's ingrained in us to assimilate to a certain degree. And then when we see other people in the room that present some type of a light. Even I did when I was younger. When I was in my early 20s, you know, despite the fact that I don't necessarily get jealous, but there were times where I would feel intimidated with certain individuals before I realized why privilege as a light-skinned person in the world. And it all is kind of like an encompassment of assimilation because you feel like the best thing to be basically is white. And I feel like we have to unlearn that. And
that was I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but this is important for me to say. That was also an issue with me because you see, in my head, I said, okay, I know the color that I have in my skin, right?
Yeah.
And I know the way people treat me. I even know that possibly me speaking up and saying this, I'm still gonna get so much shit offered to me, and I probably will even be returned to that space because they know what my skin brings. But the moment I saw that, it broke. It took me away from that, and I realized that everyone on that set was fighting to be seen as privileged because the way I intimidated people with my skin, because mind you, that's the space of all Black people. I was one of the only Latinas there. And the way I saw my brothers and my sisters intimidated by me, I had a Black trans woman tell me, you know, do not sit there. You can't sit there. And I was going to be right in front of the camera. And I had to sit there because I needed that moment. I come from, my parents are Bolivian and Chilean, and they're struggling right now. And my ancestors were pushing me for me to also have a moment. And I needed to do that. And it broke my heart because it's that industry where it's so new and so unhealed that once it's done, once Pose is done, I don't know. You've heard Ryan Murphy say it in when he talks. He says once they were going to cut it off the second season, but he said once the third season is done, he doesn't know about it anymore. And that's what scared me because I was like, okay, so we have this chance, but instead of all of us coming together and having this energy in this room, I'm being stopped by my own people. You know what I mean? Like I'm being pushed by a gay Black man for me to not be seen on camera. But then I'm also wondering, well, my third eye is telling me that I'm getting set up by people that have prominence on that show because they're afraid that I'm going to get ahead somehow, but they don't understand that I was trying to get ahead for us. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I really feel, hold on 1 second, Devon, because I really want to hear what you have to say, but I want to say this. I find it really, I'm trying to find the right word.
Just say it.
It's really, it saddens me, the fact that this was, to so many people, their only opportunity to shine. You know, you were not the only extra. So imagine 100 people thinking the same thing like you. I want my time. I want to shine. So I can imagine people pushing each other like hyenas to get,
but the thing
as if the camera was a meal.
But the thing is, Ashley, hold on.
So many people have stories about wanting to do stuff for their family and wanting to be seen.
Exactly.
So
but let me tell you this.
We just need more. We need more. We need to put money into our own.
Wait. Let me tell you this.
So that so we don't have to wait until somebody creates a show for us. We need to make our own shows.
But let me tell you this. Because this is where I was in the behind the scenes. I sat there and there was opportunities for other girls and other men to be in front of the camera.
Do you see that comment?
Which one?
There was chances for people to be in front of the camera. I even sat there and grabbed one of the girls and I grabbed her and I took her to the camera because I wanted to, you know, I felt like I had done a lot and there was nobody else stepping up. But in reality, what was happening too is that the girls were afraid to be on camera.
But someone said in the comments, extras are not there to be on camera; they're to be in the background.
Exactly, but
so
why was
there so much people wanting to be on? Yeah, that's. Hey, yeah, I get what you're saying, but let's let Devon speak without being interrupted.
Well, first I was thrown off by that comment because I didn't know what whoever that was wrote. Maury is having whatever for lie detector.
Someone said Maury. Someone's referring to Ultraviolet as a liar, which is not fair. Someone said Maury will be back with the lie detector results.
And what I mean, I would love for people to call me out because they won't. There's nothing for them to say about me other than me standing up for myself and defending myself.
Yeah, right. But let me say something about that. So my thing is this: if you feel like anybody on this platform is a motherfucking liar in any sense, you don't have to be here. Like, you're sitting here watching and being miserable for what? It's no, and that's the shit I'm talking about, because you can't be that damn pessimistic and try to build a fucking community. You can be real,
period,
and fix your shit, but don't come on a platform and tear somebody down when they're speaking their own experience. That shit shouldn't be tolerated at all. I'm not the type of motherfucker to do that, off and off camera. I'm not. So
but that's also
is disrespect people when they're on platforms speaking their truth because you weren't there. So I'm listening and I'm hearing what Ultraviolet has to say. Everybody,
they're saying that my head is gassed up. First of all, while I was on pose, I became homeless. People don't know that. People think that I'm fine. People don't understand that while I was there and I was getting these situations happening, and I viewed it as not an opportunity to be famous or get a platform, for an opportunity to do what I love, which is to act. I became homeless, and nobody knows that, and it's my first time saying this. So it's like, how am I gassed up? What privilege do I have? What money do I have? What success do I have?
But like,
nothing.
Shame on whoever the fuck you are, log the fuck off. If you feel a certain type of way, sweetie.
And if I just want to say this, and if you have something to say it. Call me out, please do.
Yes, be a real bitch about the shit, because that's how I am. We're not about to sit here and play this game, and this is the last time I'm gonna say that about anybody. My whole thing is, if you're there, if you're here to support people, be here to support people. Don't be here to be a bitch and try to call somebody a liar and all this other shit. If you have an issue, the inbox is waiting, or meet somebody on the street. That's just how I am. You're not gonna sit here and keep defaming somebody while they're trying to tell their truth and speak their story, because that's not what this is about.
These comments are really atrocious, though. Like, some of these comments are like really like.
It's just not.
Like, yeah, we're being trolled. We're being there. No, there are a lot of people that are being supportive. There's just maybe a few people that are trolling, but let's not negate that there are people who are really putting nice comments, uplifting comments.
You know what? And, I don't give a fuck. Let me tell you this. I don't give a fuck about getting uplifted. I don't give a fuck about anyone saying anything about me. This is exactly why I didn't want to say it, because I have a lot of trauma that I've dealt with and that I'm still dealing with, and I was trying to figure out a way to speak my experience without having to get more trauma put on me. But I would love to hear everyone else's experiences. If I did anything wrong, I would love to be called out. I already spoke my truth, and that's it. That's it. I don't care. I did it. I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel like I don't want to go into my head thinking that what I just said was wrong and caused me to kind of isolate. That my truth is my truth, and that's legit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, and definitely. And we appreciate you telling your story.
I never sat there and tried to stop anyone from being on camera. Period. So don't make it seem like, like I was in there trying to stop people. Everybody could have gone on camera. The reason why we're all extras, but the reason why I forced myself in a way to get ahead, I've told my story, and it's because I viewed it as an audition. I don't know if there's any more opportunities after this. And I was doing it. Huh?
you will definitely have more. I feel like we can start uplifting and believing in people. Even if I don't know you, I feel like you do have more opportunities to, like, everybody on this camera has more opportunities going for themselves. We have to uplift each other in the moment whenever each of us are talking to each other. You're special and you have your talent and you're beautiful and you will proceed forward. And that's what I speak upon, not just with you, but everybody else on this camera.
Ashe.
Right. Well, Devon, I definitely want you to continue what you were trying to say earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Disclaimer, I do have 7 personalities, so if something end up pissing me off, that's personality number 7. I just want to go ahead and state that. But I just honestly feel like it's slowly but surely we do have to unprogram and unlearn some of the things that have been taught to us from childhood. That's something that I can say because as a black gay man, growing up in the house that I grew up with my mother and my father was very homophobic. My father, up until I was 19 years old, when I actually came out to him, thought that gay people were a part of a cult. They're sex slaves, basically, that did nothing but spread hepatitis C and AIDS. And that's all that my father thought of gay people. And he thought that gay people, and which to this day a lot of people still think, a femme, gay boy, trans people, and drag queens are all the same thing.
Right.
And that's a problem. So we have to, and I was fortunate enough, and I definitely don't know where I got this from, but I was fortunate enough to not only realize the difference, but also be bold enough to be my own person and persevere throughout my father's anger and our arguments and me getting him to see the other side and realize that we are not these negative stereotypes that you were taught in Columbus, Mississippi, when you were amongst a whole bunch of poor black and brown people. I had to keep pushing that narrative, and my father is a very, very aggressive man. So, of course, I had to keep pushing that narrative for at least 9 years that we are different types of people that just want to be loved just like everyone else. And we deserve the respect and we reserve the love and the admiration just like everybody else does. And so it took me a while to not just love myself, but also gain self-worth and self-appreciation. And also try to instill that in other people as well. And I think that's what we have to end up doing, especially when we others feel like they're falling by the wayside, is express love and hold each other accountable for our actions, but do it in a way where it's loving, even sometimes if it is tough love. And I think that's the thing that I feel like the community is missing is holding each other accountable through the bullshit and all, and saying at the end of the day, you fucked up, but I still love you and I want you to grow from this. And I think that's the thing with Flame is that we have to, initiate that and have that open conversation.
Right. I think also like to piggyback somewhat and still like sidebar same time of what you were saying. I think that, and like even with like how some of the comments came off, not the positive ones, but some of the trolls and just in general, somebody said before that they feel like that everyone is getting too sensitive. No, what's happening is people are being expressive about their sensitivities. People have always been sensitive. What people do in society, it's not polite to be sensitive. It's not polite to express your sensitivity. So all of this European civilization has taught us that you got to have a stiff upper lip. When end of the day, we are no longer living in that space. So insensitivity is one of the major things that need to be deprogrammed and decolonized specifically, because insensitivity isn't just like, oh, you just have this idea that, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, you got to have a sip of a lip. Insensitivity is also telling someone, is being able to say to someone that they're too sensitive when you haven't lived their experience.
Right.
What it is they should and could and would be sensitive about, or what you would had you lived in their shoes.
Right.
Would be sensitive about.
And then let me also point on that too, that when it comes down to when people say like LGBT is too sensitive and all this other bullshit, and then they want to direct it to like, oh well, Richard Pryor was on stage and people was doing this and people could say anything back in the day and this, that, or whatever. Well, people back then didn't have motherfucking social media and didn't have fucking platforms to check people for saying stuff that was problematic in the fucking first place. Because our generation really is in the center of a social media storm. So there are people that literally are seeing people do things that are wrong and may have been wrong for years, but this is really now the first time when people are really saying, hey, this is wrong, and they actually have a platform and thousands upon thousands of people can see them.
Right.
That's not being sensitive. That's actually reenacting a reality check into somebody's ass and holding them accountable for their shit. And
Right.
that's what a lot of people don't like, is
Exactly.
that back in the day, in the 90s and the 80s, you could say whatever the fuck you wanted, and it was in a select view of an audience or on a TV or whatever. But now you say some shit, and there are people that know that it's wrong, that have a platform and don't give a fuck about if someone agrees with them or not. Like, you have to speak to that now. And I think that's the issue, is that people want to use the excuse that, oh, you're being sensitive to try to shut
But also, I'm
up.
reading the comments. I'm reading the comments that people are saying, and
something.
there's someone said, oh, you're gonna gag when they take you off of each scene. I don't. They said I don't give a fuck if they take me off the scene no more, because what was happening at that moment, how do I say it? I say it like this. Being on that show did not bring me no fucking money. It brought me no success. I don't have a bigger platform, and I do have a mouth on me, and I don't. Something in me already knows that I'm too problematic for those type of spaces, and Jip Jack could vouch for me. Me and Jip Jack, we've known each other, and I have very, what you would consider, problematic views, and I say what I want to say, and I say it how I mean it.
I don't think it's problematic. You just don't necessarily in the moment care to say them in non-problematic ways. Like there's like things in ways that will indeed incite passion in others because you're passionate, and that's not something I think you should change. But you know what I'm saying? To exist in that world, you definitely would have to calm that shit down a little. But
a lot, not a little, a lot, because you're only allowed to say certain things, and they have to be said a certain way. And
well, people don't like people who tell them the truth in general.
It's so true.
Like people really resent people that tell them the truth, because like political, like sort of not political correctness, like passive aggression has become like a synonym for like professionalism. Like not saying what you really mean is considered professional.
Right.
But it's like, so when you say what the fuck you really mean, oh, she's difficult. Look at that. And it's like, no, I'm being direct. I'm telling you the truth.
Right.
And that's what I had an issue about being on set, because it was just like, okay, I'm not going to be getting oppressed on set, and then I'm going to come out here and feel like I can't say anything. Like, I'm tired of feeling like we cannot be who we are without getting some type of shit on.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Because you got men like Donald Trump and damn Kanye West and little motherfucking Duvall that want to run his fucking mouth even though he got no damn career. Like, running their mouth and being reckless and making jokes about, oh, like, if a trans person try to talk to me, I kill them. Like, and still have fucking careers. And nothing has happened. And that's pissing me off. Because I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're really gonna make a joke like that and you still have a fucking career? Like, I don't understand. Like, let's have some civility, and let's have a heart when it comes down to treating people like the way that we would want to be treated. Like, it's just like I don't. It's always
There are
pain
people.
about that.
I'm sorry. There are people who actually that are trans that actually don't find nothing that are LGBT plus identified that don't find anything wrong with what Flame said. And they think that we're just looking for things to complain about.
Well, see, the problem, and I can't speak for anybody as far as trans because I'm not, but I will say the problem that I have is that it's fine if she wants to identify, or she, however Flame wants to be identified as, wants to live in that way. But the problem I had was
the generalization.
the context that in the statement, in the opening statement of the beginning of the Breakfast Club, said, well, LGBTQ is so sensitive, so I just decided to create the acronym. The phrase, he, she, we, this and that, whatever. And I was like, wait, no, you need to speak for yourself because you can't speak for the entire community. That's the fucking problem.
Right. That's my issue too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's different if she would say, now, I'm not speaking for anybody, but this just how I identify. This how I motherfucking rock.
Right, but she made these
agenda.
Right, hence the agenda, and she made all these extremely absolute and general statements.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, hold yourself accountable for your shit. It wasn't like you said now. But and the reason why
I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Okay. Because somebody else wants to join in and say something. Okay. So I'm putting the link in. There's space for.
Is anybody gonna buy the he, she, we fan?
It's what? No.
Like, and what sucks is that I would, because those are my essential like pronouns, and as an actual two-spirited person who's everything is decided, you know what I'm saying, based on these two spirits that I am. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like she not only made a mockery of trans women, she made a mockery of two-spirited and third-gendered people who are legitimately those pronouns with actual spirit, you know what I'm saying? And again, somebody said she didn't do the work because she had children. That was her opportunity to do the work, so that if that is indeed how they identify, it could come from a place of actual understanding, not knowledge and respect of other people's pronouns, essentially. Because the issue was that you were then putting all of those pronouns on every trans woman that ever existed, instead of claiming them as your own and respecting everybody else's fucking truths.
So I have a question about the one aspect of the conversation where Flame had said I had basically had inverted their breast and just to basically in a way assimilate to the masses for their child. Do you feel like that was more so? I know it was out of fear.
Hey, Roxanne.
Hello. How are you?
Hey, you were. Oh, hold on 1 second. So, Roxanne, introduce yourself. You were in the chat, and you were saying a lot of things. So, Devon, finish up what you were saying, and I guess Roxanne will add her words.
So basically, what I'm saying is like, so how do y'all feel about that conversation?
What I do
feel a little bit of a way, just because my thing is the way that my parents.
I would like to say that the civil rights. I fought for civil rights. I'm the first transgender in the United States of America to fight for fair housing, and I also filed in a second case, and I got civil actions. And we can all fight in courts.
When I'm lost, what?
Somebody in the comments, I think, nailed it, and that she's only going to talk about filing lawsuits.
Oh, okay. I can't see but some comments.
I'd like to see more of us fight in courts.
I think that's definitely something that anybody white can totally do.
Where are you from, Roxanne?
I live in Gun Barrel City,
Where's
Texas.
that?
I live in the Badlands. I'm the toughest transgender in all of the state of Texas.
Wow.
I live in Texas.
Texas has had so many Black trans murders. I think Texas is the most trans murders have been in Texas.
Roxanne, and what do you think we can do in the courtroom to get that to cease?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think in the courtroom we could do to get to stop the murder of Black trans women?
What I thought. Okay, I'll show you what we can do. We can file cases. I filed lawsuits.
What did you file?
Get your civil rights actions.
Okay, so what did you file a lawsuit about?
I filed this week. It's going into case. That's what we should all do.
Can you disclose any of the subject matter?
I'm retired. I got time. I fight.
Can you disclose
about being kicked out of a swimming pool?
Can you tell us what?
No, she said about being kicked out of a swimming pool.
Oh, okay.
Over here in Gun Barrel, bunch of haters.
What happened? Oh my God! What
Religious
happened?
hatred.
Still weird. That's still a lot.
So wait, they told you to leave the swimming pool because you're a trans woman? Was that why?
Because they did not like transgenders.
What exactly was said to you?
Yes. So I'm suing them for $7.7 million. I wrote my own lawsuit.
Ooh, give me some of that money.
Okay.
I just got the action number from the courts yesterday. Well, wait, the civil action number.
So you went into the pool and then they told you to get out because they don't like Did they verbally say that they don't like transgenders?
Yep.
Wow.
They're dumbass.
That's crazy.
What now?
You gotta stand up.
Did you use a restroom when you were there?
Yes.
Which restroom did you use?
Yes, they did. And they're gonna be in trouble. I mean, I'm gonna fight.
Did you use the women's restroom?
Yes.
Was that the issue?
I used the women's restroom.
But was that the issue?
I've got a female birth certificate, female ID. I'm the first trans in this area. Do what?
So what was the actual issue? What happened?
Yes.
Tell us what happened.
So what exactly
They
happened?
just don't like us.
They don't like us. Okay, you're the only trans
They
in
don't
your
like
area.
trans people.
Okay. And
This
how
is
long have you been
redneck territory.
transitioning?
Devon,
How long have you been transitioning? How long have you been transitioning?
10 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely applaud anyone.
I'm taking a stance out here for y'all.
Right, I definitely applaud anyone that takes the
For
stand
us.
and leads the fight
10
for
years.
other trans girls.
So back to Ashley's question, because you did say lawsuit, but considering the fact that those women have passed away, how exactly do we?
I just want to thank all y'all for standing up for something. That's when we stand up, is when we're noticed.
Is there a delay effect whenever we talk?
I think so.
don't know.
I feel like some people don't hear some people. Hold on. I'm a mute. Okay. Roxanne, do you hear Von D speak?
That I got multiple voices in there. That's what's happening.
Okay, do you hear me now?
That's better.
I don't think she hears you. That probably makes sense. So let me ask you, Roxanne, what are your thoughts on Flame Monroe? Do you know who Flame Monroe is?
No, I don't know much about that issue, hon. I don't watch that much. I spend my time writing lawsuits.
Okay. Um, are you a fan of what was
Anybody?
her name?
I'm old.
How old are you?
62.
Oh wow, that's amazing that you decided
I'm
to.
grandma.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Jessica Yadniv? What's her name?
I'm a fan of
Yaniv?
y'all's. I don't know
Thank,
anybody else.
thank you. I
Boy.
appreciate that. How long have you been watching?
A couple of times, and y'all really talk about interesting stuff.
Thank you. Definitely
I don't
appreciate
know
it.
it.
Well, Roxanne,
But
thank you
I
for joining
support
us.
everybody.
Thank you for coming on and sharing the love. We're gonna continue talking about the topic. All right, we're gonna let you go.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
hope everything works out with your lawsuit.
Some of y'all file some lawsuits now.
And when you get the money, donate to teatimnetwork at gmail.com,
I'm
PayPal.
going to set up a site to help people.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. I'm gonna
Take
give you
their
my
money.
PayPal.
Take their
All
money.
right.
Teach them to treat us right.
Yes, and give some to me when you get a chance.
Okay.
Yes.
I will.
Okay. And what are you gonna do when you get the money for
Give
yourself? What are you
away.
gonna do? What are you gonna do for yourself?
I'm fighting on religion. It's about time somebody fought on religion.
So what you gonna do?
Okay, nice talking.
My
Okay. Take care.
Yeah.
Isn't Caitlyn Jenner 62?
I don't think so. I think Caitlyn Jenner is. Let me see.
I'm just saying.
Caitlyn Jenner is 70. Caitlyn Jenner is 70.
70.
Oh, okay. Might do wonders to
Mhm.
people.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That people have the strength to decide to change even later in life. I mean,
Right.
and I always feel sad when I hear those stories because it's like, wow, you lived all your life masking, like masking, like that has to hurt to put on,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, Miss Sykes, put on, boy drag, trying to be this macho man when you're a flaming queen inside, you're a goddess in boy clothes. But I think we definitely should be closing this soon. Now there's only 3 of us left. So any final words from you all? But I think we definitely should be closing this. Oh, who's this? Now there's only 3 of us left.
Hello.
Any final words from you all?
Yes, Queen Leah.
I think we definitely should be closing this. Who's this? Now there's only 3 of us left. Hello.
You speaker girl.
From mute. Hello. Girl.
We gotta bang it on you, girl. You beautiful girl.
Queen Leah.
Yeah, I'm trying to say something. I don't know why it's not working.
Put headphones on, maybe.
Okay,
we're hearing echoes.
Yeah.
We just heard your voice though, girl.
Yeah. Queen. Got the floor, girl. Oh, okay. Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to say, hopefully we have more conversations about this, and different facets, different avenues.
Yeah.
I really wish that the last person that was on, the white older lady, I wish that it would have been a conversation about. I mean, she said that she gonna get 7.6 million or whatever, child. If she was to win that money, and she knows about this conversation, is aware about this conversation, is she going to pour some of that money back into the community. You know, didn't
That's
answer the
what.
question about the lawsuits because the girls unfortunately are not here. So how do we create these lawsuits to hold people accountable? I honestly feel like it should be more so like an ordinance situation, but you know, that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother story.
For sure.
But I feel like there needs to definitely be more in-depth conversations about what avenues we need to take in order for there to be a broader conversation about this. It shouldn't just be just solely with Miss Flame, but just in just in general. I saw something happen out of nowhere. But yeah, that's my closing thing. You know, I'm just here as a supporter and want to everybody's voice to be heard.
That's right.
Jack, do you have anything? Jack, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah. Again, my last thing is we to just piggyback. We need to support each other. Lawsuits for civil things are definitely great. I encourage any Black people that have the money for lawsuits to indeed do such things. Those tend to also be spaces where you will see white people get more money than Black people. We can't act as though these problems don't also have race on top of them. And then as well, I would just want to reinforce that, like, as much as we all, you know what I'm saying, as many of us, I'll say, would love, you know what I'm saying, that record deal to come through, or that like production deal or whatever it is to come through from inside the industry, because the money is there, it's fast, it's going to get you what you need, and you think that you can, like, you know, learn how to make your own money from there and everything will be cool. We really need to grassroots this shit. And we really need to support each other's music, support each other's little YouTube, you know, things that we're doing, videos, plays, hire choreographers from within, hire songwriters and producers from within, hire, you know, all kind of like, just like really like Ashley keeps pushing as well, doing things from within. Again, like you said, and it would be great if Roxanne decided to give money to Ashley's foundations or anybody over here's work so that we can produce ourselves with monies that, you know, look
right with budget, with fucking budget.
Because that's the people don't want to respect nothing if it don't look budgeted. Like, people talk about, you know, oh, like, how come the Black boutique don't have workers that do X, Y, and Z? Because y'all niggas don't come in there, and then when y'all come there, y'all don't want to pay full price, and they gotta do all that fucking shit. And then on the same time, y'all don't want to pay what it would take them to get any better employees. So what the fuck do you want from somebody who's trying to start their own business on the middle of 125th or wherever the fuck they are? So we've gotta really like grassroots this. There's no reason any Black people are still watching the NFL. There's no reason any trans people feel like we have any respect in the industry enough to really want to make it through the industry.
That's true. And I do want to note as well, I'm not sure if anyone else has saw this, but there was a trans woman that released a successful lingerie line. I shared it on my page. I forgot the young lady's name, but the article is in Forbes magazine, and that just goes to show you that who else coming in here? Oh, okay. That just comes to show you that you know, you push and we support, and then those results come in and we push even harder.
Period.
I don't know. I'm just gagging because now I'm thinking, you know, someone said you're an extra, you're not meant to shine, you're not supposed to shine. And I'm thinking, well, nobody ever taught me that when I was on that set. They don't, these are all new things to me and to everyone on that set. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay, girl, you know what? We're going to make a whole nother special about Pose. We're going to have to give you, we're going to have to gather all the extras. Y'all need your space because y'all need a place to vent. There's so much pain.
Ashley,
there seems to be so much pain that you're harboring.
Can I say something? No, I'm not harboring anything. I was thinking about the mental health thing that you brought up. And maybe I was going to say that I'm wondering if I do need to see someone too. Like,
That's all I was gonna say.
Yes, we all do. The trauma we deal with.
I know.
Doesn't matter if you're trans, gay. We deal with so much shit, and the fact that we get up each day,
and people,
like we're fucking struggling.
Feelings about it, and people want to call you sensitive for having feelings about it. So guess what? You got to go pay somebody to talk your shit out and have them talk to you nicely for an hour.
And then they don't even look like you,
right?
For the most part.
So it's like I definitely agree with therapy and love the whole therapy concept, but it's just like end of the day, like. If everyone stopped acting like they're not sensitive just because they didn't show how mad they were when some shit went down, we would be okay.
Or some people would stop acting like motherfucking hypocrites, because I can count on many a times that Black people would get pissed off about what Roseanne said or what other people have said about Michelle Obama. But then whenever a LGBT person gets upset about certain issues, then all of a sudden we being sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, don't mix the two." Well, bitch, I can, because I'm Black, gay, and male. I can do all of it.
Oh my God! And someone mentioned Ty Couture. He was a Black gay YouTuber that committed suicide. So like, you know, people have platforms, and he had success. Sometimes it's like never enough, though. I think that we're always trying to compete with each other. Like I know people who have like 20,000 followers and they're complaining like, bitch, I need to get 1 million. I'm like, damn, I'd be happy with 10K. I've had 3 Instagrams deleted. You know, I could have been way out there, but you know, censorship is real.
Yeah.
Algorithm is real.
Right.
And I'm pissed off about that shit. And because numbers, even though we say numbers don't matter, they do matter, because that's where we are in social. That's where we are. We've been brainwashed.
Right.
We've been brainwashed to believe that you're only worth your follower count. And that's not fucking true. Just because you're not popular doesn't mean you don't. Just because you're not popular doesn't mean you don't pop.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
And Dip Jack pop live. And Actually Breathe pop live. And Ultraviolet pop live. Okay. And 1D pop live.
Pop be trying, child.
Okay.
But on that note,
but no, Ultra, I know, I get what you, I can imagine.
I just want to say that I don't appreciate the way you just approached me actually in front of these people, because I've opened up to you. I've opened up to you personally, and for you to kind of scream at me and kind of yell like, "Okay, girl, we need to have your own special."
No, I didn't scream at you.
No, but that's disrespectful.
I always talk loud. I've been talking loud since.
Ashley,
girl, you can click the first episode of this whole platform. I have a big mouth, girl. That's why people don't like me.
But you never talk to me in this manner. And if I'm being open about something and I'm talking about it, it's not for my attention or for me to get a special, because I could have had that. So I don't want to be made feel like I'm trying to just talk about the situation. You said something that clicked on me when I got out of this video.
When you came back, we were just about to end. It's no shade to you. It's no shade to you. When I was saying we should do a whole special about it, that was giving you another chance to speak without us ending the live. We were about to end it.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm just
like, yeah,
I'm kind of neurotic right now. I just feel.
Yeah, I'm not the fucking enemy.
I know.
I'm not the oppressor, and I'm not the gatekeeper either. But I feel you, girl. I know, and I feel like I guess you're. Someone said she's triggered. We're all triggered.
It's triggering.
I'm triggered. I'm triggered.
Okay.
This is a triggering as fuck.
I think this is so triggering, Chip Chat.
And the fact that I don't like to censor people on the channel. But if I did tell before we went live and I said, remember everyone, please be very conscious of each other's. I want you to be unapologetic. Bitch, there's no ads running through this shit. This is not sponsored by anyone. And I like it that way. So I want everyone to speak, say how you feel. And the point is that we grow and learn from each other. That's the point.
Before you end this live, I got one thing to say.
I love you, Ultraviolet. Don't think that this was an attack.
I love you too. I love you too.
Because you about to cut my head off, bitch.
Girl, I'm just triggered.
You thought I was one of those hoes on the setup pose that pushed you. You about to beat you with your heel.
But
You're
on
a key.
a serious know, I do have something to say about that. That the young man, unfortunately, that did kill himself. My thing is Ty Couture. My thing is, it shouldn't just be condolences just to him, because there are young gay black boys and young just LGBT and older LGBT that have killed themselves that don't have the type of fame that he had. And so I feel like when it comes down to it, I saw so many posts about people saying, you know, damn, we should have, like, you know, you gotta uplift this, you gotta make sure you uplift it, you gotta make sure you check in. But then after it's all said and done and the posts are made, where is the check-in?
Right.
Where are the people checking on people that you know that had depression? Where is the love and the support and the admiration for the people that don't have the type of following that he has, that you know personally, that's in your motherfucking phone?
Preach about it. Oh,
so that's my problem with the situation. I just feel like when it comes down to it, every person knows somebody at some point in life that has had depression. I knocked pills out of someone's hand that was about to commit suicide in a bathtub because they thought that no one cared about them until I walked into the motherfucking room.
That's the number one cause of suicide, is that people feel like they're not cared about.
And I know it's hard day by day because we get so congested in our heads with our everyday life. But I feel like people need to get into the momentum of thinking about, damn it, I'm living and I need to check on the people that are not just within my circle, but the family around me. Even people I don't even motherfucking know like that. People that I may not even see. I've gotten into and I'm gonna be quick about it, but I've gotten into a situation where when I was younger, that when I used to see somebody that I knew was gay, I used to automatically go on the defense and think like, oh, this person, like, it's a defense mechanism, thinking that like, oh, this person about to shade me, oh, this person about to, they looking me up and down, they trying to check me. And now I'm in a place of my life where I'm like, how you doing, brother? How's everything going? You know, check on somebody, do check-ins. You don't gotta motherfucking know the person. You don't have to create some type of relationship. Like, you just need to check in with that person for one quick second to make sure they're good. Because that's what people need. Be a confidant to somebody that you don't motherfucking know. Because life can go so much worse. Even though we're in the midst of some tragedies within our situation, we're still breathing, we're still alive. We're so blessed to be here. So I mean, that's just how I think about it, and I really want people to really realize that, you know, we really need to, you know, give each other a hug and support each other.
Because honestly, without
Roxanne said, "Grandma loves you all." Roxanne, the message.
Baby grandma.
Grandma, don't forget us when you get that 7.7 million.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You need to send me at least 50,000. I can flip it and make motherfucking million.
All right.
Okay? I know how to flip some money.
Someone asked in the comments, what's your thought on Daphne Dorman, the trans woman that killed herself a week after Dave Chappelle Netflix special aired? He mentioned her in a comedy special. Well, so I guess Dave Chappelle, he mentioned a white trans woman finding his transphobic jokes funny, and I guess social media was attacking her and she killed herself. Wow, you know, mental health is just really, like, I think it's really important that we have people to speak to. It doesn't have to be a therapist. Just try to find community. Try to find someone who understands you. And I think Jack said something about people that don't look like you. Like, it's hard. It's triggering even to speak to someone who does not even have your experience. Like you don't know what it's like to be my skin tone. You don't know what it's like to be my weight. You know what it's like to be my gender. You know, how could you tell me how to handle something? So I like to keep, like, when I'm going through things, I speak to people who I know have experienced the things that I'm going through. So but I do, you know, there's something that white trans women you know, I hate to say it, it's the fucking truth that they have the privilege to take themselves out of this world when Black trans women are being killed and slaughtered. So it's crazy how even in death, white trans women have the privilege to annihilate themselves from this world. And that's deep. I don't know if anyone wants to piggyback on that.
But I think that is a truth. There's a truth to it. But I also think there's a lot of passing trans women that take themselves out of the situation because I feel like a lot of them don't know, they don't know how to deal with the community. They don't know how to deal with the stuff that, you know, we deal with, and they view being passable as a way to find their happiness. And it's sad because if we had the girls that I know that are passable and privileged and they came around, I feel like maybe if that's why I always talk about women who have privilege, use your privilege to get us ahead, because that's like I was saying, it's easy to, like, a white trans woman could go and say whatever she wants, and I bet you they'll still give her a contract in a way, you know what I mean? So I don't know how much we can hate that as much as view it as their way of finding their peace and their happiness. And I'm saying that because I'm about to get surgeries, and these last couple months and this last year, just you know, exposing my story and my life story, and kind of being open about it, and kind of feeling drained from the world. I don't know if, for my own sake and my own mental health, if it would be easiest to transition through surgery and maybe just go hide out somewhere in peace. You know what I mean? And it's fucked up to say that, but there's parts of you, you know, that there's parts of you that naturally thinks like that. You're a human being. How do you find how do you find happiness when all you've known is trauma?
You know what I feel like is so problematic? It is the passing thing. From my perspective, the passing thing also is problematic, because there are cis women out there that look way more masculine than me, and I just feel like, you know, there are different variations of women out there.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you don't have to hit a pinnacle of what a quote unquote, you know, woman is supposed to be, in a sense. Like, and the same thing with men. You don't have to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're your own woman, and and then for trans men, they're their own man. So at the end of the day, like, you know, you find what makes you comfortable, and you find what makes you beautiful, whether it be through cosmetic surgery or whether it be through just loving yourself in its entirety. And
I mean,
think that's
I agree to that. I agree with what you're saying, but also, how do you deal with being someone who, once having surgeries, is going to have a big chance of being passable? And I'm not doing surgery to be passable. I'm doing surgery because I hate my fucking man face, and I have dysphoria, and I dislike. I want to match my outside with my inside, the woman that I am, and every time that I look in the mirror, having, you know, a male bone structure, it distracts me and takes me away from kind of being in full glory of who I am on the inside. You know what I mean? And just like there's passable women, there's not passable women. But that's what my experience, and what I'm saying is kind of for you guys to see the other side of it and understand that I didn't know when I transitioned that I was going to be passable or feminine. All I knew is that I wanted to be a woman. But now that I have this.
Thank you, Michelle.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Michelle's comment. I was about to say it. I was about to say masculine face there.
Child, because I was about to say it too, because I was like, man, weird.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. You guys are gonna say that to me, and everybody has said that to me. But the thing is, as a trans person, you're not gonna believe it until you fixed what you don't like and what you see.
But then we'll always find something else that we don't like. I think we have to learn to find the beauty in ourselves, and whatever else we change, it's just gonna be even more beautiful. I think that we can't, oh, I'm ugly right now. Like, there's no such thing as that, Let's introduce this person that wanted to be added. Deity, please.
Deity. Hey, please. What's up?
Hey, Dave.
Go ahead, speak. Welcome to the chat.
Hey, so I'm a heterosexual Black woman, but I did want to speak on this topic because I feel like this topic is really, really interesting for two reasons. One, because my introduction to the trans lifestyle, not introduction to it as far as knowing about it. Can y'all hear me or am I breaking up?
We hear you fine. You got the best audio, girl. What phone you got?
All right. Well, this is a headset. It's a Plantronic.
All right.
But my introduction to the trans lifestyle, as far as really delving into it, was through T.S. Madison. And part of the reason why I became interested in T.S. Madison is because we're both from Miami. So I'm going to be honest with you, she humanized trans people for me. I'm just being honest. Like and when I say humanized, I mean, the perception that transsexuals were given in the media was almost like, in a way, freak showish. You get what I'm saying? And T.S. Madison, looking at her lifestyle, it gave a more realistic, like, this is a person with feelings that live their life every day. This is somebody who's experienced some of the things that I've experienced just simply being Black. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, this is what I want to say as far as the gay community and the Black thing, right? Man, listen, I don't understand why people don't understand, and no disrespect to the white transsexuals out there, the white homosexuals out there, but I'm just going to be very honest. A lot of the times what it appears to me as a Black heterosexual female is that the white community, I don't care what you like to sleep with or what you like to identify as, but the white community finds multiple ways to try to divide us as Black people, whether you're light or dark, male or female, homosexual or heterosexual, and Black people play into these things because which at whatever moment, whichever side that these people who are seen as the societal pinnacle, this particular group of people, whatever it is that they choose to gravitate towards at that time is what we as Black people would tend to cleave to. So instead of appreciating my Blackness, I'm going to say, well, I'm light skinned or I'm dark skinned, whichever side white people, want to choose at that time, or, if they want to promote homosexuality, then I'm going to distance myself from the Black community and I'm going to focus on being a homosexual, or I'm going to focus on being a heterosexual, but we're Black. You understand what I'm saying? And a white person who is gay, and this is
oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
Maybe that was
It's the system. It's the government.
It's my magic.
Hey, hon, you're breaking up.
While we wait for her, I'm just going to say no Black gay individual has ever separated themselves from Black people. Black homophobic heterosexuals do that for us.
Right. And being a transgender person or being a gay person is not a lifestyle.
Right.
That's the first thing that I wanted to address. The second thing I wanted to address, since is on mute, is that I think that the responsibility factor for cis people in this country, and I'm going to speak for the Black experience, is that
thank you, Deity. Sorry, we couldn't. You broke up. She left.
Yeah, bye, girl.
Oh, she's back. She's back.
Okay, well, welcome back.
Sorry about that. So, and what I've noticed is that white men in the gay community are some of the biggest racists, partly because they are so open in their expression because of them being flamboyant. No, I'm telling you, they are.
Okay.
They're some of the most openly racist.
So
white gay males are some of the most openly racist.
No.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we know that.
Yes, we're trying to hit you the game because you seem to be trying to educate us, but we understand that very much. No Black LGBTQ person has ever once separated themselves from the Black community. Homophobic heterosexuals do that for us. Also, as Vaughn brought up before, because I was going to say the same thing, what we live is not a lifestyle. Lifestyles is things like going to work, taking care of your kids, paying your bills. We all have that. We're human. What we live is a human.
Hip-hop culture.
We don't live anything else. And at the end of the day, like, you don't have to tell us about the racism of the white gays. We experience it firsthand in a way that y'all can't even imagine, because we happen to also be in a community that somewhat has anything remotely similar, in that we happen to also be queer in that way.
They should be able to empathize.
Wait, hold on. I think she was coming on to express, as a cis woman who's heterosexual, she observes these things.
Right.
I think that's what she was trying to do. I don't think she was trying to tell you about the racism within the gay community.
Wasn't.
Because yes, it's true. And I'm sure, my gay brothers talk about when they're on Grindr, when they're on gay apps, the white men say no niggers. It's real. It's real. And a lot of our Black gay brothers are hooked on drugs because of the rejection of their families and from white gay people.
Right. I think it was the delivery of the message, not necessarily the message.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just
speak real. Not necessarily what you know what I'm saying? Like,
I just speak with passion.
It's different if it's necessarily coming from me. It is different for someone to explain it. Like, I was just stuck on the lifestyle.
The lifestyle.
Part. And then I also was stuck on the fact that it's a hotep talking point when someone talks about homosexuality versus the Black community, as if we disparage the Black community in some way. Like,
I didn't say that.
It wasn't us being kicked out.
But your language suggested, like, the way you
phrased it.
The way that you phrased it kind of.
But did I? Oh, okay. Well, did I say that? Did I actually say that, or was that something that came across as?
But I think. Wait. I think it's important. I think it's important as a cis woman for you to just listen sometimes and not always have to combat what is being said. And I think
Ultraviolet, I wasn't combating anything. I was talking about race.
But what I'm saying is that my brothers are trying to tell you and educate you, and you're kind of still talking instead of just listening to what our experience is.
No. I was asking a question.
And I think that as a cis woman, as a cis woman, it would be more beneficial for you to speak upon the things that you experience and not what our experiences are, because we know what our experiences are.
I didn't speak to your experiences. I was speaking to Black people.
And I can't hear shit.
Can I say something? Is that possible? Hi.
And Diety, I don't want you to feel like this is an attack. We all talking with loud voices here.
Of course.
So how y'all doing? I'm Leah, and hey girl. I just kind of wanted to piggyback off of what Deity was saying.
It's
Deity, my bad. So I live in San Francisco, and it's a huge population of, like, the white gay scene here. You know what I'm saying? And as a Black trans woman, you know what I'm saying, I tend to go through a lot of, like, racism and discrimination from even just stepping out into the Castro. You know what I'm saying? And it almost kind of creates this kind of division where it's like, well, if you're gonna hang with us, then you need to disown whoever else you cool with, or that look like you. So that wasn't what I hopped on here to say, but I kind of heard where she was coming from, and I kind of feel where she coming from, because that is a big part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go to West Hollywood or anywhere like that, you see a Black male or Latin male with his white boyfriend, you will see him with his white boyfriend and all his white friends. friends. You don't see the white boy with his black boyfriend and all his black friends.
Yeah.
Because they have made this kind of culture to where we need to be separated in order to be inclusive. And like it just comes the same thing with the white trans girls as well. So I just wanted to kind of see where she was coming from. Y'all, just on that point, on that end.
Right. No, and I can see where she's coming from too. It's just like I said, Tammy Roman said it best out of anybody. When you frame a certain type of message, even though there is a delivery there, it's the way that you frame it on how people will hear it. So I got that part and I understood that, but at the same time, because I'm a very pro-black person, I'm pretty sure Ashley knows that.
Yes.
So, and I grew up in a very 70% of my high school, if not more, was white, and I always fought against white people telling me to not bring my black friends to certain spaces, whether it be at a party or whether it be at an educational space, whatever the fuck it was. And I feel like that's what we need to end up doing, is making sure all voices are heard and all the other stuff or whatever.
One thing I would like to add to that, again, I'm saying, the onus is definitely on the oppressor the oppressor for creating the scenarios in which our people would do this to each other. But I'd also like to put it on cis hetero people to realize that a lot of those people that run into the lap of these gay white men don't have a home at their cis het black mama's house, don't have a home at their cis het black sister house, don't have a home at their cis het black brother house, because of all the things that homophobia has done in our community, regardless of whether any white gay men have an opportunity, or have presented an opportunity, we would be less, our people would be less inclined to take that opportunity if we had the opportunity to go home, essentially, just to be in the presence of our family on a greater basis. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to discount what you're saying, but what I see is less of an opportunity and more of a last resort.
To deal with predominantly white people.
Black is so infamous for that don't want to motherfucking address the shit, and that is so annoying as fuck because it's so normalized that hypermasculinity has infiltrated. If you want to talk about a demon within the community, let's talk about hypermasculinity and over sexualization within our
Sure. Well, let's talk about it.
Amen.
Because I hear so many people talk about gay people are doing this and gay people are doing that and trans people are this and trans people are that, and then always inserting alternative lifestyle bullshit, but we don't want to talk about the hypermasculization that is having our trans women killed.
Now you would be talking about black men because hypermasculinity. Can you hear me?
Really talk about that type
no, I will talk about it with you. But can you hear me?
Because it's like, do we love it so much that we're not willing to address that? And that's a big ass elephant in the motherfucking room.
It's almost become like a fetish, almost like almost it's become so fetishized. I mean, but if you think about it, I think that also comes from times, especially with black gay men. You know what I'm saying? Where like it was the thing back in the day, like masculine, DL. You know, that was the push, and then it kind of, even when men came out of the closet, that hypermasculinity kind of transferred over to like the lifestyle. Like, you know, I have a friend who's I guess you would say a butch queen, honey, but you know, to him, like, you know, he feeds into that hypermasculine stereotype, even if that's not his natural. You know what I'm saying? Because he feels.
How do you think that stereotype was even? Who do you think allowed to perpetuate that stereotype? How was that stereotype?
It was a survival thing. It was a survival thing back in the day, just like stealth girls and passable women. It wasn't about it was survival. They had to survive so they wouldn't get killed or be seen, you know, outed.
As far as men. Yeah, the men, you know, it's like DT, where are you from?
Miami.
Oh, Miami. Okay, so I'm not sure how the hoods are over there. But in New York City, and probably in a lot of places in America, and even in, you know, other countries, being gay is the worst thing a man could be called. So there are a lot of men that enjoy having oral sex from men, but they don't want to be labeled as a homosexual. They put on this act. I hate homos. I hate faggots. I'll kill one. When they're going late at night to get their dick sucked by me.
Can I say something?
And that's why
Can I say something? There are black men. Hold on. There are black men. There are black men.
Apparently,
I don't think he can hear you.
Wait, hold on. Everybody, hold on. I think people are not hearing each other. Devon, do you not hear DT?
I don't hear nothing. I hear y'all, but I don't hear her. It's
okay,
not,
so listen, there are black men.
It sounded like a whole bunch of mumbles. Otherwise, I would have not talked over anybody. But
I don't think you hear her. Try leaving and coming back.
Can we also take this conversation? Like, first of all, I wanted to say to Ultraviolet girl, you know, definitely you are beautiful. The surgeries don't make a difference. I saw Janelle did something on Ashley's show. Girl, you got to do the work. The work really makes a difference. And it's an everyday type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get that surgery, you're going to just think like, oh, I got to change this. Oh, I'm going to have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still not the fish yet. And as a woman who has been trans for over 10 years and who has perpetuated transphobic stereotypes, I lived stealth for a long time. And I worked in the entertainment industry for a very long time. And I'm still in the industry. You know, I gave off, you know, I had to learn, you know, my self-worth and do the work and find my love in my transness, in my faith.
Sis, do you have surgeries?
No, I don't have any surgeries. Okay. I'm completely natural.
So I've been transitioning for 10 years on hormones since I was 17. And I've done the work and I've come into a realization that I really just fucking hate my bone structure. When I look in the mirror, in my eyes, I feel like my face represents a male face. And I don't like that. You know, and I don't know.
By whose standards?
By me.
Whose standards? Who told you that your face is a male's face?
No,
women come in so many different shapes and sizes, sweetheart. There's some women who look like one of the girls.
The thing is, I understand that, but bone structure is very important, and it's different in males and females. I don't like the way my nose doesn't. When I look at my nose, it's literally a male nose to me because I can see the bone here, which you know, like
you need to talk to some of the black girls out here.
Like,
right.
Some of the black girls.
We got those flat piggy noses.
We got those flat piggy noses. But even black girls have feminine noses.
No, what I'm saying is talk to some of the black girls who get told that they don't have these soft, delicate features according to white.
I was always told. Yeah. I was always told that my nose was big. Oh my God, girl! People are never gonna know that you're mixed because you have a nigger nose. I've been told that.
Yep.
I had a nose job and people still think my nose is big.
What I'm speaking about is
you are beautiful.
What I'm speaking about is my dysphoria and my gender. I don't care. I don't care if I had a big ass nose. I don't care if I had a big ass nose or a big ass chin or a big ass male fucking protruding forehead, as long as it was a feminine bone structure.
So who's standard?
Yeah, I think you need to change that bar that you have for yourself, where what you hold as woman or what you hold as femininity. Girl, I spent so many years comparing myself to every other woman, trying to be more feminine, and you have to learn, you have to readjust what that bar is. Your nose is not going to make you more of a woman. Your gender dysphoria, you're dealing with that. You're a woman. You're living in your truth.
It's for me to feel more comfortable in my body. I don't understand why dysphoria and being transgender is not being viewed as, you know, you get surgeries in order to feel more comfortable in your body. I'm tired of hating my face. I've tried to love my face for the last 10 years on hormones without any surgeries. And every time I look in the mirror, I still dislike my bone structure.
Like, I don't think anyone is telling you not to do what you feel like you need to do. What I think people are saying is that your reasoning is because you think that their face looks like a male face. And we're telling you that like that's incorrect. One, because there's too many cis women who look exactly like you. And two, when I look at your face, I get woman every time. The second I look at your face, I've seen you zero makeup. I've seen you with your lashes off. I've seen you with your brows not done. I've seen you. And you are woman, head to toe.
But that, yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's people's perception of me. I don't know. The perception that I see is
that's based on people's
different.
two eyes. That's not them looking at you with their third eye and saying, "Oh, like I see the feminine within." No, bitch. They looking with their two regular ass eyes and seeing the woman. So it's like if you it's like if you feel like the bitch that you are, that your face is unacceptable, period, then do what you got to do to have an acceptable face. But if you're gonna make it about you looking more like you looking more feminine, you could not look more feminine than you do right now. Like this is amazing. You look like like bitch. I need this picture. Like yeah, this is your album cover right here. You just in the dark, eyes down.
When you feed into that and you start saying I have a man face, you're just feeding into more of that hatred that people are seeing. Like, first of all, stop calling yourself a man. Don't even let that word leave your fucking mouth, honey. You're a goddess. You're a trans woman. You're beautiful.
Even though you're a Latina trans girl, Black females have been told the same thing by white men. And you look like an ape. You look like a monkey. You're not beautiful. So it's sad.
You're too dark. I don't do dark skinned girls.
We have to unlearn these things. You know, we're all fucking beautiful.
Period.
And then I also want to say, and this is for everybody in the room, and this is definitely to you, Ultraviolet. I honestly want to have the question: have you thought about having self-love exercises to a certain degree, and what that looks like? And I'll explain that very briefly. That means that writing letters to yourself and posting that on a wall, or that means, you know, writing sticky notes or carrying a notebook or talking to yourself in the mirror and saying how gorgeous you are. Do you do stuff like that?
But wait. You see, that's the problem that I'm having with this conversation, is that for somehow me getting surgeries, it means that I don't love myself.
No,
but
I'm not going
No. But what I'm saying is that as a trans woman, me getting surgeries is loving myself to match my brain.
No. You have me messed up. What I'm saying is that what you're telling us is you're using words like hate. You're using certain key words that's indicating to me.
Oh, my bad. I guess those type of wording is just something that probably, like, you know.
You do not love who you are at the current moment. So that's why I asked that question, because typically, even if you are, because I can't relate as far as I can just empathize, because I don't have any type of gender dysphoria, so I can't imagine or fathom what that feels like. But I'm saying when you use words like hate in the current moment, even if you do want to change something, it's still that in-between stage between you doing the cosmetic surgery and where you're at now, where you still have to love what you currently have until you get to that moment.
Okay. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Because I was going to say this about the black male masculinity. So he was basically saying, you know, that he wanted to talk about black male masculinity, black men being.
They sitting there saying you calling black women apes and monkeys and stuff.
Okay, so I'm not sure what his problem is.
I think
or if he can hear me.
Take sound bites and shit.
But
I heard everything, but they try to take sound bites.
Okay.
Wait. You hear her?
He said he hear everything.
No,
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Can we bring the focus back on trans women for this conversation? Because that's what I really got in here for.
Wait, hold on. Let DT finish what she was saying.
Right. So talking about, because this is talking about trans women as well. So talking about black male masculinity and how why that is so significant to the black male is because that was put out throughout society. Now, you do have black men, of course, who sleep with transsexual women, and they choose to keep that on the low, or, you know, not want to talk about that. And not to compare this situation, but there are black men who don't want to be seen with fat women who are born women. There are Black men who don't want to be seen with certain women who look a certain way. So, to be honest with you, I think as Black people, we have to address the root issue, and that's us not actually being comfortable with ourselves a lot of times in our Blackness. So therefore, anything that deviates or adds to that problem, so-called problem in this system, we choose to distance ourselves from that. So Black people in certain cases will choose to distance themselves from a homosexual or a transsexual or a dark-skinned person, because these are things that are adding on to the already burdened slate that they're dealing with, which is being Black in this system, which is the reason why a lot of Black homosexuals, from my perspective, from what I've seen, particularly male, they in some cases, depending on where they're from or where they're living, they choose
or who they're
not
dating.
or who they're dating, right? They choose not to deal with Black. So as Black transsexual women, my question to you is, do y'all have that same issue when y'all are dating Black men? Do Black men choose to not deal with Black transsexual women or Black homosexual men? Do they choose to deal with the white?
Of course, I could answer that. Of course, they sexualize. The Latinas, the Latina trans women I feel like is the most sexualized, and then the white. I don't know. Maybe
I'm gonna disagree. And she did say for Black women, and I'm gonna just say, like, as a Black woman, the Latina girls, the Asian girls, they're always more desirable to these men, because to some of these men, they represent realness. They represent more exoticness. They represent a femininity. Like, I've had guys tell me I'm too dark. It doesn't matter how much my fish push through when I walk into a room. Some men just, as a Black girl, especially as a Black trans girl, then you get fetishized. You only have men that come to you because they're looking to be topped by a BBC or something like that, or they're looking to make you into this or into that. You don't really get a lot of men that are coming and loving your Blackness. It's always holding the Latin girl above you or holding the lighter girl above you. I see it all the time.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you relate to Black women on that level, where you feel like you're more so a sexual thing as opposed to somebody they want to wife up and be seen with?
Exactly. All the time. I feel like my Blackness for some men is like, they'll fuck us. They'll do what they want, but they're not wifing. They're not, it's just like the shocker when I open my mouth and men see that I'm intelligent or that I'm educated or they hear that I have a job or something. Their reactions to that is like, oh, for real? Oh, really? You're not some dumbass trainee broad, And it's just like, and we feed into those stereotypes sometimes too. We're guilty of perpetuating those things. But I totally feel where you're coming from. The separation, like, being comfortable in your Blackness, is a big challenge for some people, and they'll never admit that they're dealing with it on a daily thing.
Right.
What I really hope.
Wow.
That was
It's a lot.
What
a lot was said.
What I really, really hope is that at the end of the day, like you said, like there was something that I really, really also loved about what you said, that like people are not secure in their Blackness. There needs to be education on how Black this trans thing is, how straight up African all versions of love and existence and identity and magic and all of that truly is. We need to get back to the root of the situation and continue to respect each other for what we are. Because one thing that most African tribes and even most indigenous tribes and indigenous to America and Aboriginal tribes understood is that the universe, the source creator, wants to experience life in all the ways that they need to experience life. Whether that means that ultraviolet is God experiencing life by getting all of her surgeries, whether that means that I never get the titties that I sometimes want when I look in the mirror, whether it means, you know what I'm saying, like whatever it means, where we have the non-dysphoric trans woman sitting here that wants to live life as a male, but is fully recognizing that this is a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to remember that all of those versions of life are the Blackest thing that could ever be. and anything deviating from such is the thing that is the disease. And that's why that's why we get divided, because at the end of the day, we don't respect the true nature of what it means to be African and what it means to hold all of these versions of life at high esteem.
Right.
Right. Ravina, introduce yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
I think it's bedtime for Miss Sykes.
Okay, good night, Miss Sykes. You held on long enough. Thank y'all so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. We love y'all.
Jip Jack, follow me.
Where you at?
Ultraviolet Blue Rose.
Okay, I'm not on social media.
You're not? What happened?
No. You have I'll tell you.
I have to give you my number then somehow.
Okay.
Give it to Ashley and we'll give it to
Ashley has it, she'll give it to you.
Okay, yeah, DM me.
Okay.
Okay.
DM you where?
Hey, Ashley, I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of your show. You know what I'm saying? And come onto this panel. I watch all of y'all. I watch y'all. And, I'm a little late to the party. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just finding my proud transness. You know what I'm saying? And seeing this and seeing some of the video you just did about trans advice and the dating and all that stuff, it really hits me on a different level. So I just want to tell you that, girl, the work that you're doing is amazing. It's great. And I just want to say, regardless of the platform that they're giving you, this platform really does change people's lives.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hello, Ashley.
Hi. Who's that?
Hello, Ashley. Hello, Ultra. Hi, Queen.
Hello.
How are you?
We're fine. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, just to say I love you, I respect you, have a good time, love you all. That's what I can say.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the love.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Good night.
I just want to say thank you for saying that to Ashley, because I feel the same way, and it gags me sometimes when I hear Ashley talk about how she feels not validated or maybe just not supported through this platform. And we had a conversation yesterday that it made me really sad. And when I left that conversation, I felt almost like without Ashley and the work that she's doing, we weren't gonna have any hope in a way. Like those videos that we make are just so fucking amazing, and the way it's so inspiring, and I feel seen. You know what I mean? I feel connected to my sisters through those videos. I feel like I'm not alone in my experience, So Ashley, you're amazing, and I hope you do not leave this platform.
Yeah, and Deity, I'm going to just give you your props, girl, for coming into the room, because these conversations need to be had between Black trans women and Black cis women. When we walk out the door every day, we deal with the same stuff. We are the lowest, most disenfranchised group of women. So definitely, thanks for coming in, girl, because, I have a lot of cis female friends that I can't even talk about my transness too. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know how to receive it, So I just, props out to you for coming in the room, girl.
Thank you. And I have a question for Ultraviolet. Being that you, and I mean, I can only relate this to being a Black woman. So being that you are, as far as racially, white passing, from what I can see, you are Latina, but you're white. I guess you would be considered a white Hispanic.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So being that you are white passing, do you feel as though your experience is easier than a Black trans woman? Because
I don't know, because I don't live a black trans experience.
Well, do you feel like being a Latina or a white Hispanic, your situation, just being without your gender even playing a part? Do you feel? Because this will answer my question. Do you feel like you being a white passing person, your life is easier than a Black person?
I feel like yeah, but I feel like when I used to play on my whiteness to and I was ignorant about
my whiteness and I kind of would use my whiteness as a teenager to survive in situations and kind of get out of situations. And I didn't understand how that was wrong and how that just kept, white supremacy going. I did get it. I was given more privileges, but as a trans woman, it didn't matter how white I was still being disrespected and talked to.
So
And
do you feel as though you deal now, because you are experiencing certain levels of discrimination, do you feel like it's easy for you to now to blend in more with the Black gay community because your whiteness is no longer benefiting you the way that you feel like it used to benefit you?
I don't understand that question. Can you
So
repeat it?
no problem. So just to give you a little bit of backstory, and then I'm going to go into the question.
Uh-huh.
What I find to be very interesting, particularly with white trans people, or even some, not all, but some white gay people, is that when their white privilege is not working for them in a certain circumstance, they want to then deal with the disenfranchised group, which is going to always be Black people, regardless
That's
of
deep,
our.
girl.
That's very deep. That's
That's
very
a whole,
deep.
yeah, we need, damn, I can't
But
believe you see
That's
what
a
I'm
whole
hating, the fact that
panel.
we're
But you
having this
see,
conversation 3 hours in.
the thing is that my community, the Latina community, I feel like for example, I was working it was called Trans Latina Coalition with all other Latina trans women.
Right.
But my skin tone was still causing people to feel like I was privileged, or they felt some type of way about it. And my Latina-ness wasn't enough. I wasn't Latina enough for me to be like one of the girls as the girls. You know what I mean? And I've never really viewed myself as, oh, let me be around my Black trans sisters because of what I'm dealing with. I've always just been around that as a teenager, being homeless and doing sex work. I was always around the other Black girls who were doing sex work and doing that. And being around other Black girls was the only thing that really saved me and made me feel good, because I didn't feel alone in the struggle.
Right. So,
You
and
know what
that's
I
what
mean?
right. But this is very interesting, right? Because you're hitting my point. What I see a lot with homosexual white people, whether it be through just them being a cisgendered man as y'all, or it's somebody who wants to transition into a female. What I've noticed is that white people, I mean, you can look at Caitlyn Jenner, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
White people, period, have white privilege. And because Black people are so disenfranchised, and then you add on a sexuality to, or a transitioning to that Blackness, it's almost like they're even more disenfranchised. And people, this is not, I'm not knocking you or saying anything about you or anything like that, but people that are like yourself who are still white get more of a pass with other Black people that are gay over a Black heterosexual person, because you're white and you're gay, and Black people want to cleave to things that are not Black.
Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, that happens to me a lot. People are more accepting of me, and they want me to be around and things like that. The only reason why I don't get that is because the moment I open my mouth and I speak my truth and I speak the way I speak, and I am no longer a teenager who feels like I have to talk in a proper white way to be respected or accepted. I am already, and I'm viewed as a threat, and I'm now no longer viewed as a privileged person. I'm viewed as a tranny or a
It's just like
transsexual.
that white trash person who only wants to, not saying you, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
I
it's
know.
almost like a white trash person who wants to come to the hood because other white people don't really accept them. And it's only because they're doing drugs, or it's only because they're doing things that are unacceptable to the white community, but they can still dibble and dabble and get passes that a Black transsexual or a Black homosexual or a Black person, period, will never get, So you want to benefit from one part of the struggle, but you're not trying to understand all of it. Not you, but
Hey,
that's
No. Yeah, I understand that.
hey,
I
Deity,
understand
can I
that.
ask you a question, Deity? Because like I really, this brings up a question for me. You as a Black cis woman, when you are around transphobia, especially from Black men, do you stand up for the girls? Do you say no? Hey, she's a woman. Don't disrespect her. You need to learn. What are you doing as a Black woman to help bridge the gap within our own community, which is where the work starts?
That's a great question. So I've never been around, or if I don't think I've known a person who was a because you got to understand something. Transsexuals are not the group. The identity has become more mainstream as of recently. Most transsexuals that people have known or even came across in person were sex workers. And I personally wasn't in that environment. So if there was a person that was a transsexual, I did not know, or they may not have been comfortable speaking about it. Had I known and they were a Black person, I'm not going to look at you any different. But naturally, of course, I would be kind of like, ask questions and be like, well, what, it's because it will be a shock. And as I told them earlier on this panel, T.S. Madison, looking at her and looking at her shows was what actually gave me a deeper understanding of look, who you choose to lay down with, that's your personal preference. What you choose to deal with, that's your personal preference. At the end of the day, we're still Black, and the struggles that we go through are going to be different than any of the struggles that any of your trans white sisters, white passing sisters, or homosexual white males go through. And that was what opened my eyes to realizing that at the end of the day, we are still in the same, regardless of what they could add all these other things to it: light skin, dark skin, male, female, trans, whatever, gay, straight, but we're Black. And that is going to always be our main issue, because even if you are a passing trans girl, you can't be clocked, period. You're still going to be seen as Black. And you're going to get attacked for that.
That's you so right. You so right. You so right. And I know Ashley probably ready for us to shut up so she can go. She's like, y'all 3 hours going.
My bad.
Yeah, we've definitely been on for over 3 hours. Yeah, it's a lot to say, and I love the fact that I got the energy to keep on going. But Deity, I'm not sure if you follow any of us on or Tea Time on Instagram, but definitely follow us, Tea Time Network, on Instagram, and I'm gonna try to do these chats like once a week, because there's so much more we need to say, and we can't get it all in an hour, 3 hours.
Right.
So we got to break it up, show by show. But yeah, like you were saying, yeah, there's I know Miami for what I know. I know a lot of girls that just go to visit. I don't know any trans women that live there, so I can I understand that you probably don't see the girls unless they're in a resort or something, or if they're on the streets.
Right.
But in other places, trans women, especially in New York City, like trans women are like everywhere, and it's gotten to the point where a lot of men, they seek trans women, and like you were talking about, as far as like the white trans girls, the Latinas, yes, they will probably be seen with a white or a Latina or Asian trans woman before they're seen with a Black trans woman. But they will lust after the Black trans woman the most because of the fact that a lot of Black trans girls, big ass, big dick, big tits, and a lot of times that's what they want. They want this fantasy, this. They want it all in one package, and they want it to be a secret. So I get what you were saying. A lot of cis girls, and I want to know how you feel about even being called a cis woman, because I hear a movement where females don't like to be called cis women.
Right. So if the term cis, from what I've gathered, it came up by the gay community, right?
It's a scientific term, so it's not.
Yeah, it's the PC thing, pretty much, like how they wanted to, because they used to. It's PC, they want to keep everything science and everything appropriate. I prefer to call women women, period. You a woman, we go through the same thing when we go out the door. We harassed the same way. We're discriminated the same way. We paid the same way. Men respect us the same way, and that's very little. And I just feel like when you're a woman of color, that drops even lower. So, I've always been against the whole cis thing. I always say she's a woman, honey, because if you're walking through my struggles, when you walk out your door, you can be killed the same way as any other woman. You can be raped. Men don't walk out the house worried about that. They don't walk out the house having to turn down a million people. Hey, baby, what's up? Hey, baby, let me get some of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we as women, we need, especially Black women, we need to realize that our power, and we need to realize that these men is really scared of us, and they just going to keep trying to keep us down.
Right now, I do see one person, and I don't want to hold you, but I do see one person saying, "Stop with the bullshit that we're Black first." No, we're not, and all the LBG know that. So, from what I'm saying, because I'm not a trans woman and I'm not gay, so what I'm saying is that something that's not a part of the Black LGBT experience. What I'm saying is we are Black before anything else, and this is how society really sees us, regardless of.
That's so true. No, that is so true. And this is what we need, our allies who come through and can understand, because when they talked about the Black Lives Matter thing, it was like, well, do Black trans women matter? That is it. We are Black first. And once we realize that above everything, that we are people of color first, then I think that stuff will really begin to shift, and it's not going to shift until we realize that everybody's trying to get some of the, it's like what Ultraviolet was saying about the pose thing. Everybody wants to get some of the teat. Everybody trying to suckle at the same teat, and we're not realizing we got our own power over here, and we don't need nothing from nobody.
Right, and I mean, because and I wanted to know from Ashley and Queen Leah real quick, do in the trans community, do y'all feel as though white trans or white gay people feed off of the Black, because y'all still represent Black culture with the sassiness, with the style and all of that? Do you feel as though white people in the community that you represent, as far as your lifestyle, do you feel that they take from y'all but then still hate on y'all as far as your style, as far as the way that you carry yourself, but are still prejudiced towards you as far as your race?
I don't think so. I think that a lot of Latina and white trans women actually, like I was saying earlier, they find a way to use their privilege to kind of be viewed as better than or privileged. And I think they don't, unless you come from the culture, like, and you grew up on it, they don't really stray away from privilege.
They sure don't.
I think they do take from us, and it's not even just like that. It's about, like, even within the movement. You know what I'm saying? They like to let the Black girls, do a couple steps and then they're there. Like, I mean, okay, yeah, we got Pose, but you got white trans girls that's got 7 other show deals. You know what I'm saying? They're executive producing, they're writing. I just feel like our culture, there's something, it's the same thing about, like, people represented, like, trying to copy our lips and our bodies. I mean, I just feel like the girls in our community definitely do take things from us, and they let us do the hard work. They let us take the hits. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like, oh, I'm on the cover of this magazine, Trans and Proud, like Caitlyn Jenner. They letting us take the hits. They letting us be disposable and letting us die so that it can push the narrative, so that one of them can come in and say, oh, hi, I'm white, I'm Latina, I'm going to run for mayor, I'm going to run for president, you know what I'm saying, on the backs of all of our deaths. And I do feel that sometimes. I feel it. Like, Ashley, I don't know how you feel about it, girl.
Ashley, do you feel that way? Do you feel like
I think that's a whole nother. I keep saying the same thing because it's a lot to get in, because the limit for this whole thing is 4 hours and we're already at 3 hours and 22 minutes. That is a whole nother conversation, and we need to get Black females and white gay people in the room for that conversation, because I know that there's so many people. My gay brother Ghazi, who was in the chat earlier, you know, he's a Black Power activist. Like, he has his own movement, Black Hammer, and he tries to bridge the gap between Black queer people and Black cis hetero people.
Right.
And he had a video about how the white gay community steal from Black women. And I think you really need to watch that video because it sums up everything you're trying to say. This has been happening this has been happening for a long time. And even when you watch drag queens, white drag queens are acting like Black females. Yes, girl. Work. Yes,
queen.
That's from Black women. Black females had that sass. They had that energy. And you have white gay men dressing as women using that energy, using those terms. Yes, sis. You know,
but they're calling you niggers and all types of stuff, you know, behind the scenes, right?
That part. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Part.
And they want your men. They want Black men, but they don't respect Black women.
Right.
Because they feel like they're better. Someone said this is a whole new live. But listen, I enjoyed all of this. We had like 100 topics. Deity, definitely come back. Subscribe to the channel if you didn't.
I will.
Ultraviolet, I love you. We'll talk. Queen Leah, thanks for adding me on Facebook. If anybody wants to donate, PayPal, teatimenetwork@gmail.com. Appreciate the support. Make sure you like this video and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right, ladies. Bye.